much. Welcome to the Hollow Tesseract. I am your. Oh wait, I was on our Twitch and the sound came on. I am so sorry. I am your I guess host, co-host technically, QuasarNova, and our other co-host is Phantom Revan. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Just Revan is fine, easier. But yeah, I'll be the co-host, and today we will be streaming Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. It is a visual novel set in the World of Darkness universe. It's based off a tabletop game, kind of like D&D.
Oh, I've played D&D before, but I've never actually tried I think it's VTM for short, right?
VTM,
I've never tried this before. So it's completely new to me. Our Revan has actually played it before, and so he'll provide us with a bit of commentary, a bit of like understanding for certain things if we get confused. And because it's our first stream ever, we also have an amazing guest star, Rubric. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, greetings. I am the Rubric.
Actually, Rubric, both Revan and I were wondering if you could do like an intro for us, sort of similar with your like A voice. That'd be great.
Wait. An intro with with the robot voice?
With the robot voice.
Yeah, the robot voice.
An intro of what though? Sorry.
You could just say welcome to the Hollow Tesseract denizens or crew.
Yeah, exactly.
Something. Yeah.
Okay. Greetings.
So
welcome to the Hollow Tesseract.
That was awesome, and we're gonna have that for hopefully our next few streams. But since this is our first stream ever, thank you for everyone that's tuning in. We really appreciate it, and we hope that we will be able to grow as we continue. So without further ado, do you want to start getting into the game?
Let's go. So we're gonna start a new game, and right from the beginning, you have 3 choice of characters. These are kind of pre-made. The first choice is the Bruja, second is the Ventru, and the third is the Toreador. And in VTM, there's 13 clans. Think of them as like races or classes. In this game, you choose 3 of those 13 clans.
So before we start, what exactly is VTM? Like, what is the Masquerade? What does that mean?
So the Masquerade is a set of laws, and I don't want to explain too much in the beginning, because once we start the game, all of these things will be clear. The game itself will explain what these terms are.
Oh, okay, that's really cool. So it's like they have their own dictionary sort of thing.
They have their own codex, their own lore, yeah, all of that.
That's awesome. Okay, so what can you tell me about the Bruja, the Venture, and the, what was it, Toreador?
Toreador.
Yeah.
So Bruja clan, they're basically, think punk anarchists. They're known as rabble-rousers. They love to fight the power, etc.
Like Dauntless.
Dauntless.
Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm referring to the Divergent series. Go on.
I'm sure someone got that reference besides me.
I hope so.
The Ventru are basically aristocratic. They're usually leaders, CEOs, and the last clan, Toreador, they are like anguished artists, hopeless romantics, etc. So yeah, go ahead.
So like the Erudite and then the Amity, I think that's the last one.
If you want to go with that analogy, yeah, that works fine.
I mean, that's the best analogy I can think of that relates. Would you have you played this? You have played this game before. What did you play as?
I played as a Bruja because I kind of, out of the 3 main starting classes, I wanted to play as a guy because I'm a guy. I identify as a guy. And between the 2 guy choices are the Bruja, as you can see from the picture, and the Toreador. I picked Bruja because I was like, I kind of want to be that rebel guy standing up to the authority in society and stuff.
The big strong man just standing up to authority and fighting the resistance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I guess if I'm playing it this time, I would maybe want to try the female since I identify as a female.
Sure.
The Venture sounds really cool. Honestly, The Toreador sounds like really cool because it's like kind of an artsy, like it seems kind of like a thriller type thing. But
Yeah.
I think because like personally I want to kind of taste the wealthy lifestyle of the vampires. I want to try Ventru.
Okay. So the Ventru, the description says, the aristocratic blue bloods embody wealth, sovereignty, and control. A top-level corporate executive will join their ranks tonight. That top-level corporate executive is you, or us, the player. So we'll go with that.
Oh, okay.
And this is the default name for the character, Amanda, but we can change. We can go with the default name, or we can change it. Do you want to keep it? Or?
Oh, I have a great idea. Okay, so
Sure.
because I play D&D, one of my NPC / characters is named Leila, and she was basically this girl who was like this royal, and she ended up like leaving her home, and she became like this really amazing adventurer, right? So I think it'd be good to honor her. You spell it with an EI.
Like that?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Let's go. So no matter which class you pick, this is the beginning intro. And as you can see, you don't know who this character is. It's question marks. But it will be revealed in the game later on. I will say this character, you can kind of tell from the silhouette, it is a male. So I'll read this part. I'll narrate this part. So for the viewers, this is a visual novel.
Who is...
Go ahead.
So like we're not supposed to know who this is, right? Because there's like question marks on the name.
Yeah.
Okay.
But all I can say is it is a guy, but that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll find out who this guy is later on.
Interesting. Well, all I'm gonna say before you start is that I like the silhouette of his hair. It's pretty nice. Continue.
Oh, I like the silhouette of the city with the raindrops. But yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that I mean that's not a silhouette. It's art. I love the art.
The skyline. Yeah. This game has really nice background art and stuff.
Yeah, I've noticed, and the music is very thematic. So wait, this doesn't have any voice acting, right?
No voice acting, sound effects, background ambient music, and
only? Okay.
That's it. So we will be reading everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we have our guest star rubric here.
Exactly.
But yeah, sounds good. All right, let's get started.
All right, let's go. New York taught me to believe in fate. Had you asked me about fate back when I was a human, I would have told you it's just superstitious bullshit. That we are all designers of our own destinies. That belief shattered when the richest woman in the United States, the actual richest one, not a face you could have seen in the papers of course, sank her teeth deep into my neck. It happened in the very same place you're standing in right now, by the way. Fate? You decide. Please, there's absolutely no need to be hostile. Just listen a little longer. See, my mistake was that I flew too close to the sun. It makes sense that my punishment was to never see its glow again. I was incandescent myself. I was hot shit. I had it all. Money, looks, confidence, connections, men, women, a career, and a spark in my eye. The one you need to be born with. And that's when someone far more powerful than me saw my radiance and thought, that won't do. She robbed me of the light erupting from within and gave me a subtle, enduring gleam in its place. She decided that would fit me much better. She was a 9th generation kindred, just like you, an apex predator. She probably enjoyed teaching me the peak of human excellence, my real place in the food chain. It's such an eyesore when you look at some loudmouth braggart and see them for all they really are. The temptation to teach them a lesson can be unbearable, right? Well, my sire's lesson was a lesson about fate. A message saying, you're eternally doomed to be at the mercy of your sovereigns. It almost drove me to destroy myself. What saved me was the ability to reinterpret her teachings. Hers wasn't a message of doom. It was a message of hope. Fate exists, and one can shape it if given the right tools. My sire didn't believe my tools were fitting for the job. She considered them toys, and me, just her amusing subject. Well, she's deader than dead now, and I'm still here, standing right where she stood when we first met. You might have wondered how I learned about your arrival to JFK Airport. My answer is, of course, destiny. As luck would have it, today happened to be a day some of my associates were inspecting the coffins. Driving you here straight from the plane and having you wake up in such an unfamiliar place was a little desperate, and I do apologize for it. But it is so rare for you to visit New York. 3 times in the last 15 years, was it? And you're never eager to inform me you're here.
So Revan, what just happened? Like, did they kidnap this person? That's what it seems like, right?
So, without getting into too much detail, as it's obvious, vampires, they can't be in sunlight. They travel in coffins. So this guy, this person, he's talking to a character, and he basically, I guess you could say, politely kidnapped this character and is talking to them right now. So, kind of, yeah.
But why do they travel in coffins? Like, does it blot out the sunlight? Is that why?
Yes, because vampires, or kindred as they're called, they have 2 weaknesses: fire and sunlight. Sunlight absolutely will murder them, kill them. So whenever they need to travel, they travel in coffins. Or any coffins, basically, yeah. They're tight lidded and they block out all sunlight. So yeah.
Oh, so like, I mean, Twilight would have told me that the image just makes them like sparkly.
This is no Twilight shit here. We're not doing any Twilight shit. This is serious, okay, classic gothic vampires, as Bram Stoker intended them to be. No offense to Twilight or Twilight fans.
It seems very gothic indeed. I mean, it started off on such a solemn note, like kidnapping, and then like, oh, by the way, let me tell you my life story. This girl like bit me, and she's like the richest woman in New York. Actual richest person, not like the public. Actual richest person. That's really cool. So I'm very excited because it feels like we're getting into like the Upper East Side of like VTM.
Yeah, VTM deals with a lot of political maneuvering, backstabbing. That's literally the whole point of VTM. Compared to D&D, VTM has more social combat, as I like to call it.
Okay, so as one of our comments said, Rubric's just like, Quasar, rewrite this whole game but with a Valley Girl and sparkly vampires. I feel like I should do that, and we can present it next time.
That would kill the vibe, but yeah.
Okay, we'll do it after the game is over as a celebratory type thing. Oh yeah, sure. Speaking of which, how many endings does this have?
This one is linear. It only has 1 ending. The game has a sequel. That one has 2 endings. This one only has 1 ending. So, well, yeah. Okay. So then we'll expect to get to like the same ending that you received before, right? How you get that ending will probably be different, but yes, the ending will be the same, regardless. Okay, let's just hope we don't die too soon. Let's go. All right. I understand you still have that meeting on 53rd Street later tonight, so I'll provide a comfortable transport. I value our relationship very much, don't get me wrong. But it is precisely because I value it that I'm going to ask you to repay the favor you owe me. You're the only one I trust to do the job well, and without attracting attention. You might think I'm crazy, asking you to breach the rules of our society like this. You might think it's impossible to get away with it unpunished. But this is New York, and I don't know about other cities, but in this one, fate really exists. And right now, it's smiling, in your favor. This is how it begins.
That just went super dark, super quick. Like,
Yep.
I did not see that coming.
So since I did all the reading in the previous section, I'll take a little bit of rest and I'll let you narrate this scene. Take it away.
All right, sounds good. So I'm assuming this is Leila.
No, this is the narrator. Whenever the text is italicized, that is the narrator talking to the player. The
Oh,
reader.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
And is the
So-
narrator like in first person? Is it in third person?
Third person omniscient.
Okay, sounds good. All right,
Yeah.
I'll start. Your phone rings. It's your boss. Again. The setting sun had filled your high-rise office an hour ago is gone. The city looks like an ocean of light from up here, spreading for miles to the north. You pick up. You're about to call it a day. Forget about the world of fintech and decompress at home. No dice.
One of the investors wants to meet you.
Oh, is that like...
That's
that's her boss.
That's the boss
Okay.
talking. Yeah, which is why I read it.
Okay. His voice is always the perfect mix of authority and sleaze.
He'll come by your office in an hour.
Oh, this guy, he's like a typical like cigar in the mouth kind of like sleazy dirtbag type thing.
Basically.
That's what I'm picturing him as.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the clock. An hour? He's got to be kidding.
Yeah, I know, but stick around. He's a heavyweight. You'll want to make a good impression.
Fine. Grit your teeth a little. The boss hangs up. 2 hours. Might as well pour another coffee into yourself and figure out how best to use this to your advantage. Suspect everyone knows that, no, you're not actually happy with your current position. That, in fact, you feel squished against the glass ceiling that comes with the territory. As someone in fintech, because I do like my other
You
self
mean
works
actual
in
tech?
fintech.
I don't think the company.
Actual tech.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're in fintech, but I work in tech. Someone in there, it is a very high speed environment, very high risk. We have like releases coming all the time. I totally get the pressure, but I think she's in definitely a more executive type role, so she has even more pressure to deal with. That's yeah, there is a glass ceiling there, but like, man, the hours, it's insane. Sure, your idiot supervisor might have gotten the job only because he's a CEO's golfing buddy, but you're gonna put an unholy amount of work into your advancement. Times where you'd laugh off the idea of staying in the office until 9 p.m., you had a partner to go home to, the nightly Netflix and chill ritual to perform, complete with pizza or Chinese takeout. Ever since you moved up the ladder, though, your hours have gotten longer. I can imagine. Food? Mostly at the company cafeteria, sometimes takeout. Always in a rush. You praise the heavens for your crazy metabolism and dread the day it finally decides to give up on you. Rest? At this point, the cleaning lady who takes care of your apartment probably spends more time in your bedroom than you do. That is actually really sad. Where does she sleep?
She probably comes home, sleeps in the bedroom for a bit, because she spends most of her time in the office. In this office. That
I
you're
mean,
seeing.
it's a very nice office.
Yeah.
Like, I like it.
It's not bad.
I'd probably live in this office. Well, I keep an apartment when you don't go back to it, right? You flash back to your...
Might be against company policy to sleep in the
Oh,
office.
yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
You flash back to your boss quoting Shakespeare to impress his new, extremely attractive and uncomfortably young secretary. For some must watch while some must sleep, so the world runs away. Drinks? Mostly with colleagues, and they pretty much all hate you at this point. Another flashback. This time It's the most profitable quarter in the company's history. Still, the board decided that the layoffs were in order. Your boss didn't feel like letting people know in person, so he passed that privilege on to you. Gotta hand it to him. He always knew how to pick his battles. I'm assuming this guy lets everyone fight his battles for him.
Yeah, like a typical sleazy corporate boss.
Yep. But maybe, just maybe, tonight is the night it's all going to change. You decide to play the good looks angle, nothing too slutty. You leave your blouse slightly you leave your blouse slightly unbuttoned. Check if your ass looks good as you remember it in your pencil skirt. Mirror says yes. Wow. I mean, I understand that you have to kind of like, you know, get the attraction or like catch the eye basically of the person you're meeting, especially if you make business deals. But like, this is really sad. Like, she has no life.
Capitalism, ladies and gentlemen.
It's not something you're proud of, but you've become too jaded to care. Knowing your luck, the investor is going to be one of two types. Self-obsessed Musk wannabe in his 20s, or a fat old pervert trenched in cologne. Is that like Elon Musk reference?
That is, it's talking about, yeah, it's basically a roast at Elon Musk. Like the young tech bro entrepreneur who is all charismatic.
Silicon Valley type.
Yeah, charismatic, and it's like, I'm gonna save the world, I'm gonna go to Mars, etc. Yeah.
You hear the elevator ding. Time to get the show on the road. You take one final look in the mirror, fix your hair as the footsteps echo across the empty hallway. The man who approaches your office is not what you expected. No? So he's not fat or ugly or like some really skinny tech bro?
Well, the music changed, so...
Yeah, I noticed. It's kind of like intense, no?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's slick, to be sure. But he seems a bit more refined than your usually company man. Expensive suit, matching tie and shirt, confident in his stride, surprisingly good looking.
Good evening. I hope this unforeseen visit isn't too much of an inconvenience.
That was a very good accent.
Thanks. I try.
He's all business, professional, treats you in a manner that's appropriate to your stature. When he speaks, he actually looks you in the eye and not at your cleavage. Oh wow, like that's the bar? That's the bar? That is such a sad bar.
It's a pretty low bar. It's fallen 6 feet under.
Very low. He asks some questions about your work. Tells you how he noticed your input after talking to the CEO. Another golfing buddy? And comes charmingly close to calling your boss an incompetent doofus. Wow, this guy is really warming up to her, huh? But he looks like he's like 60. Just from the image that kind of showed.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Okay, you might be older. All the while, you try to guess his accent, but can't quite place it. European? Sure, but where from?
I know I've kept you long enough, but would you indulge me and join me for a drink?
Of course. For a minute it seemed like he wasn't that kind of guy. Aw, that's really sad, Leila. But what the hell? You go with it. He seems nice enough. Besides, it's not like you have other plans. I mean, she has no partner. She has no colleagues that like her. She
laid them all off,
like,
so.
Exactly. She has like a really empty apartment. Like she literally has no friends. It's really sad.
She's just alone. All she has is her money and her job, unfortunately.
It's a very empty and like very hollow lifestyle.
Yeah.
Hollow Tesseract.
So, now in this scene, I'll do the narrating, and again, we'll take turns, because I'll let you have a break, and
Thank you.
The investor has a limo waiting downstairs, and the driver takes you to a high-end restaurant in Williamsburg. A seat is waiting for you in the deluxe lounge. It's just the two of you. You talk about this and that. Your companion seems to have a knack for history. So tell me, what would you do if you had full control of the company?
Oh,
You almost choke on your wine. This is your chance. You say what's been on your mind for months, but hide it behind a veneer of professional corpobabble. Refocusing, listening to your instincts for once. Restructuring, kicking out your boss. Aggressively pursuing new markets, getting the hell away from all these horrible people. He likes the sound of that. He leans forward. His eyes flash with intensity, and something else. A strange emotion that wasn't there before. You'll do just fine.
Yo, that turned real creepy real fast. What the heck? But he does look 60, no?
You wake up. God only knows how much later. As you try to piece together what happened, you hear a familiar voice, the investor, or whoever the hell he is, talking to someone. You suddenly recall snippets, fragmented memories, his sapphire eyes intently locked with yours, his teeth suddenly longer and sharper, and something else. A feeling on your neck that takes you back to your last orgasm, a company trip to Florida, a sweaty room, the cutie from HR who doesn't work there anymore, and then darkness. Yes, I'm done here. Consider my debt paid.
Did he just bite her? Or like, what did he do?
You're about to find out.
That's so weird. Okay, continue.
Some time passes before you find the strength to get up from the couch. You touch your lips. Blood. Did that asshole hit you? You try to stand up, but your head is pounding, and your stomach is like a heavy knot pulling you down. You didn't have that much to drink. He must have spiked your wine. This is bad. You frantically check your clothes. Pristine. Doesn't make any sense. All of a sudden, a feeling hits you unlike anything else you've ever felt before. You fall to the floor, writhing in an all-encompassing pain and hunger. The kind that makes your insides burn. That cannot be denied. You try to calm yourself down with the breathing exercise they taught you at some bullshit mindfulness course. That's when it hits you. You're not breathing. And holy shit, your heart should be jumping out of your chest with that realization. But it's not moving. Not even a beat.
Okay, given enough like vampire lore, if I was in that situation, I know it is super illogical, but my mind would go there that like, oh shit, I just got bitten by a vampire.
But see,
and turned into one.
You're saying that it's easy to think of that from an outsider third-party perspective, but when you're in that moment, see, if I was in that situation, my first thought would have been, he assaulted me. Something happened. Something weird happened. This dude is shady. Something's going on.
Yeah, or like, oh, maybe because like she said that she can't feel her own heartbeat, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just her panic or her anxiety that's preventing her from realizing that she has a pulse. So
or
it could
it's
just
a bad
be
dream,
diluted.
a nightmare.
Yeah, a really bad dream. Some dreams do feel very realistic. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Sleep paralysis.
Oh my god. If that was sleep paralysis, that'd be terrifying. Like I actually had a sleep paralysis experience, and I was frozen in place for a good hour before I could actually move again. It was terrifying, and I cannot imagine that happening to her.
Yeah, it's pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
The door unlocks. You hear a startled voice. A young man in a waiter's outfit, his accent thick with an Eastern European harshness, leans over and asks if you're alright. For a brief moment, you wonder what the hell he's doing here. Everything is wrong. Then his smell reaches your nostrils. It's intoxicating. Everything feels right again. He holds out his arm to help you stand up. You grab it firmly with both hands, and then you bite down. You sink your teeth right next to the old school pin-up tattoo of Rita Hayworth on his forearm.
Oh no. Oh no.
It takes you a moment to process what you're doing. A part of you wants to break away, but a stronger voice implores you to keep drinking. One thing becomes clear. You are definitely enjoying this. He only struggles a little and quickly falls to his knees. You can see his eyes now, pale blue and confused. You only bring yourself to let him go once he collapses onto the floor. Your bite leaves a mess of his...
Sorry, go ahead.
Your bite leaves a mess of his forearm. Poor Rita, all bloodied, missing half her face. Did you just drink this guy's blood? What were you asking?
I was gonna say, like, first of all, that looks a lot like Marilyn Monroe, but all old type, like, art. Like, reminds me of Marilyn Monroe.
Kind of does resemble
did
her.
she just... Yeah, like, look at the hairstyle and, like, on the face, like, shape and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also, did she just, like, randomly grab, like, some random waiter dude and just, like, straight up feast on his blood? Like...
Yeah.
What the heck?
That's
What's this guy doing?
Exactly what happened.
How is he not fighting back?
Well, you'll find out later what happens when you feed and all that stuff.
Okay, sounds good.
And there is our waiter. He's lying down all bloodied up in a mess.
Oh my god, that poor kid.
You spit
He's
out
just like
a
working.
piece. Oh yeah, he was just working and he walked into a lady's room and then she just like bit him.
Like, just imagine, it's like your first day in the job, right? And like, you just got this new job, you're so happy, you're telling your parents, like, oh my god, I got this new job, you're telling your friends, right? First day on the job, you go to this like private room to go and deliver them some whatever drink it is, and you get your
bitten.
blood sucked. Like, oh my god.
Feels bad.
That is the most horrifying experience. Similar to a lot of retail jobs. Continue.
Yeah. You spit out a piece of torn flesh. That's, why? Where? What was in that fucking wine? Okay. Let's switch off. I'll let you narrate it, starting from here.
Okay, sounds good. Barely able to focus, your heart and your lungs still motionless, you reach for your phone and dial 911. I mean, I would too in this situation. 911 operator, what's your emergency?
Dialogue choice
okay.
time. Go.
Okay, so my heart stopped, I can't breathe, and I killed somebody.
Yeah.
Okay. And just from like logic, admitting you killed somebody is probably not a good thing. Because I don't want to incriminate myself. And I don't even know if he's dead. I just know that like he's kind of, I guess he fainted from like the blood loss, right? My heart stopped sounds like it's kind of a joke, right? I don't know. It feels like it's kind of like, okay, why are you calling if your heart stopped?
Heart stopped, right? I see that as like exaggeration. Like you're let's say you're in the middle of a heart attack and you call 911, you're like, my heart's stopping. Like, it doesn't literally mean like in distress, you know, people use hyperbole and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's also like the I can't breathe. The I can't breathe I think is the most like it's the most logical choice in my opinion, right? And also since like our Twitch chat isn't like as active as we'd like, I'm gonna start making these decisions on my own. And then later on, if there's like a decision that Twitch chat does want me to do, they can immediately write it down, and then like, you know, we choose it. But like most of the time we can make our own choices. But
this is a role-playing game, and since you haven't played this before, I think you should make all the choices here, because I've already played this before. So, yeah. So I can't breathe?
I think that I Can't Breathe does make the most sense, honestly, because if I was having issues like that, I'd probably call in and try and explain myself properly, and it's the least like, you know, like making a mountain out of a molehill type situation. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I can't breathe. Ma'am, where are you right now? The door to the lounge swings open. The man who enters is not the one that brought you here, though there are similarities. He's tall, for one, broad-shouldered, handsome, dressed in an immaculate suit. But his skin is darker, and the look on his face tells you he's not here to negotiate a deal. And that sounds like the description a friend of mine would give to, like, find her perfect match. Tall, dark, and handsome.
And not here to negotiate a deal?
I mean, some people have their choice, right? Who am I to judge?
Sure.
And before 50 Shades. He notices the smartphone in your hand.
Pass me the phone if you want to live.
The man's voice is persuasive, calm, but carrying clear threat. He's got the aura of a viciously efficient corporate shark. You find it hard to argue with him. Ma'am, hello?
I apologize for wasting your time. My new colleague got drunk and is now trying to impress everyone with her antics. Good night.
He disconnects the call and places your phone in his pocket. He just stole my phone. That guy just stole my phone.
That's gonna be the least of your worries.
He just stole... No, if someone does that, yo, they owe me a new phone.
That's gonna... Again,
like a brand new one.
That's gonna be the least of your worries, all I'm saying.
For whatever reason, you can barely keep your eyes off the stranger. As hypnotizing as his presence is, though, it is also highly discomforting.
Good evening, miss. I'm here to pick you up.
What is that a pickup line? I'm here to pick you up.
That is up to your interpretation.
Hey, I just noticed you here, and I'm here to pick you up. Okay, the who are you is like the most reasonable one that I would ask, but also like pick me up is like such a funnier, like, you know, like just like, what, you're here to pick me up? Like, dude, do you not see the guy on the floor that's fainted from the blood loss and you're here to pick me up? You know?
You could go with that.
It's such a funny situation. And then call an ambulance is, I mean, that one is the most reasonable, I'd say, because that guy is in trouble. But like, I'm gonna go with the funny option. I'm gonna go with the pick me up.
Pick me up? Alrighty.
Pick me up?
Did I stutter?
The stranger approaches the waiter and examines his body.
Critical condition, but he might live. Anyway.
He then sets his sights on you.
I know this is all new to you, but I've dealt with hundreds of strays like you, and going by experience, they tend to fall into two categories. First, there are the smart ones, who carefully obey my every word and don't try to pull off anything stupid. I always get them where they need to be, safe and sound. And then there are the dumb ones. The punks who thought they could take me on, the wise guys who tried to contact somebody, secretly and without permission, the troublemakers who tried to run off or make a scene. None of them got to their destination in one piece. In fact, most of them never reached their destination at all.
Shout out to the One Piece anime. Sorry to break the vibe.
That, yeah. Oh my god.
I just had to. I mean, he mentioned One Piece. But also, dude, like, wasn't that so weird? Like, okay, he just comes in and he starts telling me what to do, and then he starts saying, "There are two kinds of people. You either listen to me or you die." And it just sounds so like, I don't know, like it's very, very, very obviously threatening, right? And like just imagine if you were like in her shoes, right? You would be someone who like you're basically like, you know, going to dinner with some investor, and then suddenly you like bite someone's arm off after some really paralytic like traumatic shit happens to you. And then suddenly some dude comes in and he's like, "Come with me or die," like Terminator style. Like, "Come
Yeah.
with me if you want to live."
He is threatening you. That like that is basically what's happening. Now,
That is terrifying. That
Yep.
is so terrifying. Okay. His voice becomes slightly bored and monotone. You can tell he's given this speech before, likely dozens of times.
so you see, while I generally consider myself pretty smart, I'm also a Mets fan. It's my one true weakness. One that inspired me to come up with a three-strike system when dealing with pups like you. If you get on my nerves once or twice, well, I understand. Not all of us perform well in stressful situations. But cross me 3 times and you're out. No excuses, no forgiveness, no mercy.
It's so weird that this dude just referred to the Mets of all things. Like, he's like,
He's-
oh, yeah.
He's a New Yorker, right? And a lot of people on the East Coast in like New York and stuff, they like American baseball. So yeah, him being a Mets fan, like that's a very typical New Yorker thing. Some of them might be fans of, I don't know, different team, but yeah. So it makes sense that he's a baseball fan, so he's come up with the 3 strikes rule.
I'm not gonna lie though, the 3 strikes rule. Okay, this might seem like a Stockholm syndrome type response, but it's pretty lenient. Like, if he wanted to kill you already, he probably would have, right? But then giving you like 1 strike and then you're out is kind of like too much, right? But he's giving you 3
3.
strikes, which is like you can
He's
learn
giving you
from
he's
3
giving you
strikes.
chances. Yeah.
Exactly. I think that's actually pretty lenient. As again, Stockholmy as that sounds. As he's talking, he slowly approaches you, adding a bit of theatrical swagger to his walk. Eventually, he leans in, deliberately invading your personal space. You realize it's a test. He's daring you to do something about it. I mean, like, like push him away? I don't know what that means.
3 strikes and you're out. Say, "I understand, sir." Now.
Yo, that is some, like, holy. Okay. Every atom of your being screams for you to obey his authority. The second response, fuck you, sir.
You can pick that if
That
you want
is
to.
hilarious. I don't think I want to waste my chances on insulting him to his face as soon as he comes in. And again, he seems very like, okay, I'm in a strange situation. Something weirdly batshit crazy just happened, and this guy comes in threatening me. I don't think I want to get myself into more of unknown territory. I'm probably going to want to play along until
Yeah.
at least I know where I am, right? So,
Sure.
like, what are you even talking about? It seems like a very reasonable answer, too. But I think I'm just going to go with the "I understand, sir," because, like, it's,
Playing
you
it
know,
polite.
like, yeah, exactly. Lone Wolf 7, this guy on this on the on our chat is telling us to say "F you."
Now,
For-
but you
for
want to go
now-
with the first option.
Yeah, for now I'm gonna say I'm just gonna go with the flow just to get my bearings. I don't want to throw myself under the bus right away.
Sure.
I understand, sir.
Stick to that tone, and you'll do just fine. Moving on. Is there anyone you'd want to inform of your current situation? Tell them you're alright?
He flashes his fangs briefly, and for some reason, the sight sends a chill down your spine. There's something very wrong about him. Yeah, okay, if there's something very wrong about him, I do not want to get on his bad side. I do not care how lame I am, okay? The moment, I just want to survive. Thank you very much.
Someone closest to you?
Oh, wait a second. This guy seems like he's... Okay, this is like a question you'd ask someone before you kidnap them. Like, is there anyone I should be worried about? And then like they say no, and then you're like, okay, I mean, now I can like take this person without saying anything. But like, I mean, technically speaking, like Revan, Leila doesn't really have anyone, right? Like, even if she got kidnapped, there's literally no one who's gonna go looking for her. What do you think I should do? Do you think I should be honest or like,
So,
you know?
I want you to make the decision here, but I can help guide you to a decision. Yes, the game made it clear in the beginning. She is basically work and money is all she has. She doesn't have a boyfriend, no husband. Her housekeeper sees the inside of her house
No
more than,
girlfriend.
or no girlfriend, no spouse, no significant other. Her housekeeper sees the inside of her house more than she does. And she had colleagues, but they now all hate her because she was in charge of laying a lot of them off. So she's basically alone. So you could say, if you want to be honest, you could say there's no one. If you are embarrassed, you could say I'd rather not answer. And if you want to be technical, you could say, well, there's my boss. It's up.
I think
Do you want to be
this character,
technical,
Leila.
honest, or embarrassed?
I think saying my boss makes a lot of sense because okay, hear me out, okay? I'm thinking of Leila as someone who is very goal orientated and very like an upfront kind of in your face kind of person, right? Who's
Sure.
very like just blunt about everything, right? So I think my boss sounds like a really good answer because it is true. The only person who will actually look for her is her boss.
Okay, we'll
And
go with
like
that then.
maybe he won't kidnap me if he knows someone's gonna be looking, even though it's my sleazy ass boss who likes a very, very uncomfortably young secretary.
All right, we'll go with my boss then.
Okay. My boss, I suppose. The stranger squints at you.
Forgive me, but am I to assume your relationship is more than professional?
Oh shit! Oh no. Okay, no, I didn't mean that. I meant like, you know what I meant. My closest.
There's this thing called actions and consequences, and now you have to live with the
Whoa.
consequences of your actions.
Oh no. You immediately give him a piercing glare. Oh god, no. Me and that pig? Don't be ridiculous. Ugh.
You said he was the closest person to you.
That's not what I meant. You asked me if I had anyone I'd like to tell them all right. The answer is yes, people in my office. I don't want to lose my job, so I'd prefer to let them know I didn't just go off on a bender. I don't think Leila's the type to go on a bender. But like, yeah, I'd rather have people know that like I'm gone for a while and not lose my job.
No family, no lover, no friends?
Oh, so pathetic. Your blank stare tells him the whole story. He immediately stops prying and gives you something worse than a look of pity. An honest look of compassion. I feel you, girl.
Well, that makes things simpler, but let me be crystal clear, just in case. From this point on, you are subject to different laws than the ones you grew up under, and you'll be watched by many eyes to ensure that these laws are respected. You are forbidden from letting anyone know you're still alive. You are forbidden from showing your face anywhere they know you. If anyone comes looking for you, it's over for both you and them.
That practice tone again. You put on your poker face and listen in silence.
So unless you want your boss to end up at the bottom of the Hudson, I'd suggest you cooperate.
Don't tempt me. He smiles, revealing his fangs again. There's something absolutely sickening about it. Suddenly you feel overwhelmed by a sense of exhaustion. You pass out. Wait, did I just like faint from this guy's smile?
Not quite his smile, but yes, you did faint.
When you
All right.
regain your senses.
I'll take over because it's a different scene. I'll let you rest and I'll take over here.
Sounds good.
When you regain your senses, you find yourself in the stranger's arms. The man is holding you, as you would a spouse who's had a little too much to drink. You try to break free, but he holds you close and gives you a cautioning look. Only when you cease your struggling does he let you go. Only now do you notice the change in scenery. You find yourself in a fancy lobby, right next to the elevator. The place is virtually empty, save for a single concierge and some cleaning staff. Your companion gestures at the concierge as you pass, and he picks up the phone. The elevator arrives, the door opens, and the man motions towards the cabin. After you.
Okay, decision time. I'm going to scream. I mean, okay, in this situation, if it was me, like Quasar, I would probably maybe want to make my presence known, but at the same time, I feel like Leila is more technical than that. She realizes this guy's an actual threat. He flashed his fangs in a clear intimidation effort, right? So like, I'm not going to go anywhere sounds like a very passive type thing. I don't really want to say that. I think she would probably ask, where are we going? Yeah, because it's more of like, just to make sure, like, you know, is there something, like, just to understand where we're going. And I don't think he's going to give an actual answer, but, you know, what are the chances? Maybe he's a nice guy, hopefully, kidnapping me, so I don't know. I'm going to go with, where are we going? Where are we going?
To a safe place. That's all you need to know. Trust me, you don't want to make this difficult. Just get in.
Again, you can call for help. The man to be let go, I don't think it's a great idea because I don't want to antagonize him right now. Telling you guys all right now, I do want Leila to be someone who is strong and, like, you know, fights back and stuff like that. I don't want her to be submissive. But at the very moment, she's in this uncharted waters. She just wants to gather her bearings, and the best way to do that is to get a chance to calm down and think about it, right? So right now, I don't think is the best time to be competitive. So I'm just gonna go with step inside the elevator.
Going against your instincts, you enter the cabin. Smooth jazz is playing over the speakers as the elevator starts its descent. You are dazed, panicky, but somehow locked in place. On the one hand, you find the stranger's presence oddly soothing. On the other, you can feel your body tensing up with stress. You can't help but think back to the young waiter. The doe-eyed look on his face. The confused look he gave you just before. No, it's better not to think about it. Plus, you have other things to worry about, like the fact that you're being kidnapped. We can switch off here. Go ahead.
Because it's a new scene?
It's a new scene. We'll take time.
Okay.
Yeah.
The cabin door opens to the same garage you arrived at with the investor some hours ago. The man shows you a black Cadillac Escalade. Wow, he's loaded. A Cadillac Escalade?
I know what you're thinking, getting into a car with some strange man. Boy, sure seems like a dumb idea. Maybe I can make a run for it. I might be able to lose him. So, let me be perfectly clear. Your best bet is to get in, relax, and enjoy the ride.
This guy's hilarious. Oh my god. He was like, like the different options that you could do. He's actually like he did this so many times before, huh? That he just like knows exactly what the person would be thinking. And I mean, obviously, like anyone would want to get away in this situation, right? Okay, so looking at the options, right? I don't want Leila to be like a completely heartless bitch, right? So I do want her to be kind of sympathetic. I think the waiter is like the best option. The what do you want thing, I mean, she already asked where are we going and he didn't really respond properly. I think it's a useless question right now, right? It wouldn't be something that he's actually going to answer because he wants you to get somewhere and he wants you to do it fast for some reason. The I have money thing is the most useless answer because she's offering money to a guy who was in Cadillac Escalade and who looks like he has like some like Armani like suit. Like
yeah,
it
it's clear like you can't use your money and just bribe your way out of this. All
yeah,
right?
I don't think that's a smart idea. I think I'm gonna go with a bit sympathetic. Do you think that the waiter upstairs, is he gonna be all right?
Yes.
You look him in the eyes and can immediately tell he's lying.
No more questions. Get in the car. Please.
Okay. I kind of want her to make a run for it. I kind of do, right? Like, I've been saying, like, I don't want her to be submissive, but I think this is her last chance. So I'm going to try and make a run for it right now. Even though it's, like, a very illogical thing, I think anyone in the situation would probably want to, like, okay, she is someone who is, you know, calculating, someone who weighs her options and stuff. And I think right now might be her last chance before she's locked in a tight space with him. Making a run for it makes a bit of sense here. It's the fastest you ever run. You'd never expect your body to be capable of going this fast. Nothing like an adrenaline rush to show us where our true limits lie. Help! Your voice echoes across the empty parking space. There has to be someone out here. You keep running. Pretty sure you're setting a new world record in the process. Everything's just like a blur to her. He's still faster. His arms appear out of nowhere and coil around your waist, bringing you to an abrupt stop. You struggle to free yourself, but it's no use.
And that's a strike.
He carries you, kicking and screaming, back to where you started.
I hope this is just as embarrassing for you as it is for me.
I mean, yeah. He just like grabbed her like a bug. Oh my god. It seems like the worst idea ever, but the man's made it very clear that you have no choice in the matter. Oh my gosh. Okay, she just admitted to him the closest person to her is her freaking boss. I don't think I've got
option 2 doesn't make
friends
sense.
Yeah. It does not make sense. Are you going to hurt me? Is something that I don't think if he was gonna hurt her, he would have done it in that private room. He could have done it already, right? And he's fast, like, you know, he's Edward level fast, like very, very fast. Like, I don't think that's a good idea either, to say, because it doesn't really make any sense. If he was gonna hurt her, he'd have hurt her already. The what's your name, I think, is the best option here, even though I just tried to run, but maybe at least, like, you know, she could try and get some intel off of him. Can I at least get your name?
You'll know it when the time is right.
He takes a glance at his expensive-looking watch.
Listen, you really need to quit stalling. We're on a bit of a schedule here. The sun comes up in about 2 hours, and I don't intend to be here when it does.
Okay, that's some new information. I mean, you mentioned before that, like, the sun and fire, I think, are the only two things that are
fatal
very
weaknesses.
weakening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you, the player, know that. Leila, the character, does not know that.
Doesn't know that. Yeah, that's meta knowledge. So for her, I think the thing that would stand out the most would probably be like the sun, because what does that mean? Like the schedule thing, I mean, he clearly made it clear that the sun comes up in about 2 hours. I'm assuming that's the schedule, right? What's this about? Sounds like a really throwaway question. It's really stupid. The sun, I think, is the best answer here. What does it matter when the sun comes up?
Ah, you really don't know, do you? Good thing I got here when I did.
He opens the car door and gestures towards it. You see no point in delaying the inevitable, so you get in. I mean, you already tried running, so might as well. The door locks behind you. The Cadillac is almost entirely dark. The side windows seem light-proof. The man gets into the driver's seat, starts the engine, and drives away without another word. Okay, the how am I alive thing is actually a legitimate question because she mentioned her heart stopped beating, right?
And she can't
and
breathe.
that she can't breathe.
Yep.
Yeah. Is this a joke? Doesn't like he made it way too clear this is very serious.
Yep.
So I don't think that's it. The did I die actually fits. Like I think that's the best question here because like honestly, if this kind of thing happened to me and everything is going to, basically batshit crazy, I'd probably wonder if I died too, especially because again, I'm not breathing, my heart stopped. Some random dude's trying to carry me away in his Cadillac Escalade. It's probably like he's some kind of Grim Reaper type thing. Like I wouldn't like if I was her, I would think
this is like
I
some
was
weird
dead.
purgatory afterlife or some shit.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking instead of like, immediately to the vampire thing, even though I mean she could technically also be a ghoul because she did bite the guy's arm. So yeah, I'm gonna go with did I die?
She's a ghost or something, yeah.
Yeah. Did I die?
Depends on your definition of death. Listen, I realize you have many questions. Tomorrow, you will get some answers. But tonight, you need to do what I say. And right now, I need some quiet. Please.
You feel too confused to protest. You stay silent for the rest of the ride, even as more questions bubble up to the surface. One of them being, did you actually kill someone tonight? Staring out the window, you find it hard to focus and quickly lose track of where you're headed. You can only tell that you haven't left Manhattan.
Alright, and I'll take over here.
Yep, new scene. Go ahead.
Another underground parking. Almost featureless. Empty. The car stops, and the man opens the door for you. We're here. The stranger walks you to a nearby door. He opens it and motions at you to get in. Go on in. Make yourself comfortable. If you get hungry, again, take a look in the fridge. I'll pick you up tomorrow, and you'll get your answers. Behind the door is a small room. No windows, just a simple bed and a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling. A small fridge is humming away in the corner, accompanied by a rattling AC fan in the wall.
Okay, this is definitely a kidnapping. I mean, he's keeping you in a locked room with like no light. But I mean,
no windows
that makes
either.
Sense. Yeah, because the sunlight. I mean, he's taking it very seriously. But like for Leila, she has
she doesn't know this.
No idea what's going on. Yeah.
Okay,
that's not happening. Seems like denial, and I don't think she's dumb. Like she's a
she
very smart person.
She also tried to escape once already, and the guy clearly overpowered her. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the best answer here, and yeah, obviously he's leaving her here because he's about to go somewhere. So I think it's the where are you going? That would make the most sense to me. And where are you going?
I have to make some arrangements. For tomorrow, of course. Look, this room is your best chance of seeing another night. I realize you've been put in a problematic situation, and it's not entirely your fault. Cooperate, and you might still make it. You will learn more tomorrow, but for the time being, get in and get cozy.
Wow.
He gestures inside the room.
Okay, I am not gonna try to escape because he can clearly catch up to me. That's like the dumbest thing.
And you already tried that once. You have one strike, so
yeah, I don't really want to get him even more mad at me.
Let's step
I'll
inside.
step into the room.
You step inside. It's a short. It's right in the parking lot. I'll continue this, and then you can pick up the next one.
Sure.
You step inside. The stranger nods. Good night. He locks the door behind you. It looks very sturdy. You open the fridge. There's a single plastic bag there, filled with red liquid, no label. Tomato soup? You feel sick to your stomach. Best to leave it for now. You lie down on the bed. It's a simple mattress on a metal frame. At least it's not too filthy. You think back to how this evening began. This investor, is he friends with the dark-skinned stranger who picked you up from the restaurant? What happens now? Unable to relax, you spend an hour or so playing out various scenarios in your head. Eventually, you decide to give in and let exhaustion take over. Whatever tomorrow brings, you'd rather face it well-rested. Plus, there's no way in hell your boss isn't going to notice your absence tomorrow. That, and maybe some of the restaurant staff will feel a pang of conscience.
Oh.
Someone will notify the police. Someone will find you. Right? You flash back to the waiter's tattoo. The bloody Rita Hayworth winking at you over a pale mess of a wound. You did this. You bit him, drank his blood, and it tasted good. What if you can never go home again? You are so tired. Your entire body tenses up one last time, and before you know it, you drift away into oblivion.
Okay, that sound effect still freaks me out. Like, completely freaks me out.
You'll see it a lot more. Let me take a short break. I'm gonna refill my water bottle real quick. And
Sure.
Yeah. And I'll be back in like five-ish minutes.
Sounds good. In the meantime,
You
Twitch
can entertain
chat. I see
Twitch
that...
chat.
Yeah. I'm really glad that our turnout for our first official stream has been so good. Thank you all very much for being here. As you know, so both myself, QuasarNova, and Phantom Revan, this is kind of our first official like proper stream that we're doing. We did do a demo before on Wednesday, and we are going to be doing hopefully weekly shows every Wednesday, and potentially increase it, but we'll kind of let you know as we go. We are starting this off as sort of like a hobby, as sort of something that we want to do, because honestly we love playing games and we love sharing our experiences with everyone. And we're very thankful for you guys for being here. We want your feedback for sure. I actually I went to our Twitch and our main page. If you actually go on it right now, you can see that there is a suggestion box that you can put suggestions into, because how we like to do it is make sure that our audience members have fun with it and also go with us on it. And though we are not as attentive to the Twitch chat as we'd like to be eventually, we are reading what you are saying, and we will be reading what you're saying, and we hope that you are enjoying this game as much with us as we are enjoying it, playing it ourselves. Rubric, you're here. What do you think so far about the story?
The chat is popping. We're having fun.
What do you think so far about the story?
I'm jealous. I'm like, I want to play this. I'm like watching you make decisions, and I'm like, this is so sick. I'm jealous.
Well, what you can do to help us would be on our Twitch chat. If you see if there's a decision that comes up and you want to help us make that decision, you can you can see what other people are saying. You can put your own opinion in and like type it out in chat, and then I'll look over, and then if I see what you said, I'll go and I'll consider it. I won't pick it, but I'll consider it.
We've been writing them in there.
All right, I'm back.
For sure. Everybody's fighting over it. So,
what do you think so far of the decisions I've made? Do you think it's reasonable?
Yes. Yes. We mostly agree, I think. So, like, maybe I don't need to play it because I think that you pick mostly the things that I would also pick. So, almost always, yeah.
Great. Thank you again for being here. And your part's coming up soon, I think. In
2 scenes.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
great.
awesome.
So be ready or be warned.
All right.
I'm trying to put my own like stranger vibe into it.
All right, Quasar.
Okay.
We can resume. Your turn to narrate.
Sounds good. You wake up. That in itself is a bit of a surprise. You barely remember when you drifted off. It didn't feel quite like sleep, more like plummeting into an endless void. You imagine that's how death feels like. I mean, she is kind of undeath, right? Like, she's dead. So, that makes sense.
Leila,
Okay.
the character, doesn't know that yet, but sure.
Yeah, she doesn't know that yet, but so I'm actually wondering, like, does she like feel like that all the time when she's asleep, or is it just like this one time because it's like kind of, like a wave of nausea?
That question will be answered in a few more scenes. That question
Sounds
will
good.
exactly be answered.
Okay, cool. There's a lot that's like I'm questioning right now, and I'm definitely looking forward to the answers. We'll go through whatever dictionary, glossary thing that comes up as we proceed, I guess.
Yeah, there will be a dictionary and glossary that'll open up as soon as a big reveal is made, which is going to be in a
Awesome.
couple of minutes.
Sounds good. The room isn't changed. The lamp is still on, the AC is still rattling, the refrigerator is still humming. You take a look at your watch. It's almost 9 p.m. You've slept for 17 hours straight. I think this is the most she slept in a very long time, given her job.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, she needed it. Maybe you died. Your breath is gone, and you feel no thumping in your chest. Does that qualify as dead if you're still conscious? You're not sure about that, but you're certain about one thing. You are hungry. It's not your stomach rumbling, though. It's a need that starts somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat, and the back of your head. You open the fridge. The bag is still there. You take a closer look at it. If it's soup, then the color and texture are off. You pull the cork out, take a whiff. You recognize the smell immediately. Holy shit. There's no mistaking it. It's bagged blood. The smell is faint, and you remember some situations in the past where you found it nauseating, but now it's almost... No, not almost. It's enticing. Okay, our first action as a vampire. I mean, she doesn't know that, but okay, if it's enticing, right? Is that like kind of like the aroma, or is that like she feels a need for it?
Enticing, take it as you're hungry and you see delicious food in front of you, and the smell of the food, you see your favorite food, and you're starving, and the smell of it goes into your nose. How do you feel? That's what she feels right now.
Okay. And she's been like, I guess she slept for 17 hours. She really hasn't eaten before. She didn't mention she ate, right? When she left the office. Yeah, and she did go hungry for the guy's blood. I don't want to kill some random dude off the street, so I think I'm going to drink the blood. Yeah. It feels wrong, but right now, there's barely anything in your life that doesn't. To hell with it. You pour a bit of liquid into your mouth. Tastes like shit. It's coppery, thick, and clings to your tongue and the inside of your mouth like a film of dirt. You swallow hard regardless. The taste is foul, but somehow you kind of want more of it. As you take the second sip, sucking the blood out of the bag, you feel something pull on your insides. You double over. You're gonna barf. You instinctively cover your mouth, looking for a place to vomit. Before you find it, a dark red wave washes over your hand and fingers. It hits the floor, splattering in huge thick drops. Oh, that's nasty. She just threw up blood over all of herself. Oh, that...
Yep.
As someone who already like stays away from messes, that is like my nightmare.
You made a mess.
Huge mess. You keep heaving for a moment longer. Nothing is coming out. Not blood, not bile, not even spit. But still, something in your body wants to push out. push it all out, every last drop. Okay, so she wants to drink the blood, but the blood is not sitting well with her.
So,
Like, is there like a blood type that she's like
all I
good
will
with,
say,
or like?
all I will
Mhm.
say is, imagine you're starving, you're hungry, and you come across food. The food smells nice, and then you eat it, but the food is rotten, and you keep eating it because you're starving. But then, because the food is rotten, after you chew and swallow it, the rottenness of the food hits you, and you want to throw up. That's what she's going through.
Okay. And someone in chat named Wolf07, he said, "Ew, was it period blood?" Oh no, that's nasty.
That is,
I'm actually,
dude.
you
Why?
know the craze, during the whole Twilight time. I actually read a couple stories where like some girl like froze her own, like her.
Period blood.
Yeah, she froze that and then she put it into her boyfriend's like drinks or food or whatever. That's nasty. So nasty.
I'm
don't do
sorry
that at
for
home
our viewers
or ever.
who unfortunately had to hear that bit of morbid and TMI information from our co-host Quasar.
Hey, I'm just sharing some pop culture references, all right?
Yeah, we really didn't
can't
need to
handle
know
it.
about some fucking frozen ass like ugh.
Okay. Going
All
back
right.
to regular schedule.
Yeah, please.
As you recover, trying to wipe the droplets of regurgitated blood from your dress, you hear the lock click and see the door open. Standing there is the well-dressed stranger you met yesterday. Immaculate suit again, that predatory look, like a hawk on a hunt, but somehow more relaxed tonight. So, like a tamed hawk, maybe?
Good evening. How was...
He notices the spatter, your red hand, the sick look on your face. He barely contains a smirk.
Oh, was the catering unable to satisfy your exquisite taste? Apologies.
Did he just say exquisite taste? Is he mocking me?
What do you think? Of course he's mocking you.
Oh my god. Okay, I don't care what he thinks because he's my kidnapper, but my god, like imagine being pitied and like have like an honest look of compassion and then being made fun of by your kidnapper. Like, don't make him human.
I mean, he gave you food and then you ate the food because you're hungry and then you vomited it up, and
Threw
he's
up.
kind of like, oh, okay, guess you have quite
Well,
bourgeois
that
taste.
happened. Bourgeois. Okay. I think the funniest option here is to offer him a drink.
Is that what you want?
I think
You want to offer him a drink?
Honestly, I mean, like, okay, that was foul. It's kind of obvious she like threw up, right? Was that really blood? That's stupid because duh.
It's pretty obvious it's blood, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious by now. I think offer him a drink is the funniest option. You can't tell me you drink this. He takes the bag off your hands and pours all of its contents into his mouth. He closes his eyes, theoretically savoring the taste. When he opens them a few seconds later, he looks sharper, energized.
Not all of us are picky eaters.
Wow. Shade.
Come on. We've got places to be. I should have some water and a towel in the back of the car so you can clean yourself up.
So much shade. Is this, do you want to
continue.
switch?
You can continue.
Okay.
I'll take over the next.
The car is humming in the empty parking lot just outside the door of the cramped room you spent the day in. The man motions to it, politely, but with a stern look on his face. Wow, he's trying to be nice. Wow. SMH after kidnapping me, Okay. Rush the stranger sounds like a terrible idea when he can literally run to you and pick you up like a child. That is a terrible idea.
Yep.
Hijack the car actually sounds like a good idea, but I think
You actually want to hijack the car?
Okay. I think he's much
look,
faster than me.
If you want to hijack the car, we can go for that option. This is up to you. And if you think you don't have to strictly roleplay, if you want, you can have some fun. Having fun is part of role playing. So if you want to hijack the car and you're feeling frisky, go for it. But just know that you already
I-
have 1 strike, and you have 2 strikes left. And I'm not
Okay.
sure this guy is gonna... But again, it's up to you. If you want to risk it...
I don't really know what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try to hijack the car.
Alright, here we go.
I just want to see what happens.
We're gonna hijack the
Sorry.
car. Let's go.
The car. That's your only option. You push past the stranger and rush to the driver's door. You open the car and reach for the keys. Oh no, I forgot! He might have the keys with him! It's a bad idea. A strong, firm grasp on your shoulder yanks you back violently. You are thrown to the cold concrete out of the car. The man produces a sharp piece of wood from his pocket and slams it into your chest.
Oh shit! Okay.
Did I die?
No. In VTM lore, having a piece of wood in your chest doesn't kill you, it paralyzes you. Puts you into a coma.
Shit! Oh shit! It's a sharp pain that makes all your muscles tense. Paralysis. Then a feeling of all-encompassing exhaustion blacking out.
Yep.
Fudge. You can see the trunk of the car opening. Then the trunk closing with your body inside. The last thing you sense is the engine starting. Then you're warped in an all-encompassing nothingness. You drift into oblivion. You feel pain in your chest and hear a wet squelch-like sound. You suck air through your teeth as you wake, hoping that this was all a nightmare. Alas, the gasp is just an instinct. You don't actually breathe in nor out, and your heart is still as before. It's as still as before.
Alright, my turn. Rubric,
Okay.
get ready. Your character's about to come in soon. I'll give you the signal.
Wow,
You are in
what
a
the heck
brightly-
just happened though?
You
Oh
were
my
paralyzed, he dumped you in his trunk, and now you're in this art gallery.
Oh
You
no!
You are in a
But I
brightly
thought
lit
that was-
room. Paintings on the wall. Soft music. An art gallery? The stranger is there, holding a stake in his hand. There are more people, too. Many more. All staring at you. You look down. Your clothes are ripped around your sternum. You touch your chest. You realize there's a gaping hole there. You can feel your broken ribs and the flesh around them. The nightmare keeps going strong. Get up. You stand up. About 24 faces observe your every move, and a number of waiters navigate the gathering serving drinks. None of them are acknowledged by the people they're attending. The guests are well dressed, mostly, but it's unclear why they've gathered here. Nobody seems particularly interested in the art pieces on the walls, and the atmosphere is polite, unnaturally so. Something about everyone's eyes makes it abundantly clear. They are here for you. I think the fledgling's ready to take your questions, Prince. Prince? You look at who the stranger was addressing. You expect a man, but it is a somewhat plain-looking woman. Rubric, it's your turn. Go for the cold, aristocratic, noble
God,
voice.
how do you pronounce this guy's name, by the way, in the middle there?
Qadir. It's an
Qadir.
Arabic name. The guy's from an
Alright.
Arabic, Middle Eastern background.
Oh, you're breaking the chat's hearts then, if he's not Punjabi. Okay. The cold one, I gotcha. So it would seem, Qadir. Good evening, child.
Okay, so alright. I got knocked the hell out. I got paralyzed, stuffed into a trunk. My ribs are freaking broken.
There's
I
a hole
wonder
in your
if he used me as a
chest.
punching
Don't forget
bag.
about that.
What?
There's a hole in your chest where he stabbed you with
Oh
the
yeah,
wooden stake. Don't forget that.
yeah. Wait, so how am I still? Oh yeah, wait. I'm not even breathing. Okay. There's a hole in my chest. I assume he removed the wood then too.
Yep.
Is it
when
all wood, like all types of wood, or is it specific types of wood?
Anything stabbed, usually it's wood, any type of like sharp object like that, if it's stabbed through a
Like a
vampire's
stake.
chest, like a stake, it doesn't kill them.
Ah.
It paralyzes them, it puts them into a coma. So
Okay.
sometimes, real quick tidbit of lore, vampires will often interrogate other vampires by stabbing them, paralyzing them, and then doing the interrogation. So that's what happened to you.
That's terrifying. Oh, so like during that coma, you're basically like it's like a truth serum?
No. You become you're in a coma, right? So you're not even conscious. So they basically use this to paralyze another vampire, carry them away, and then unstake them, bring them back to consciousness, which is what he did to you.
I see. And then like in a more secure, more controlled setting.
Yep, which is where you are right now.
I could just imagine, as someone who's like a fan of Assassin's Creed, imagine like some random vampire dropping in on you, literally, and instead of like, hitting you with the hidden blade, they just like stake you in the chest.
Yeah.
Okay. My options are good evening, miss, excuse me, what, and what is this about, right? So, okay. Excuse me, what sounds kind of rude. What is this about is I mean, it makes sense, but also this person seems to be of authority, and they were just called Prince, and I just badly acted like twice. I have 2 strikes on me.
You have 2 strikes.
I don't want to anger them further, so I'm just gonna play along and say, yeah, good evening, miss. Yeah. Good evening, miss.
You are addressing the Prince of New York City, Helen Panhard, child of Michaela.
Thank you, my sheriff, but I am capable of introducing myself.
She doesn't seem to possess a great deal of charm, but still the entire room is intently focused on her voice. She has influence over these people. That much is clear.
You shall address me as Prince, child. I am told you have proven to be quite a burden to our dear sheriff, Qadir, this night.
Uh-oh.
And after being relatively cooperative the night before, too, whatever got inside your head?
Hushed voices fill the room. One of the faces catches your eye. It's a beautiful woman, with curly, almost blood-red hair, and a dress to match. You see her leaning over to some bespectacled man. She looks at you, briefly, but with interest. The woman who called herself Prince glances around the room expectantly. The whispers cease.
We have already heard all we need to hear about your behavior, but there is one thing that only you may know. Your sire, the person who brought you where Qadir picked you up last night, who were they?
Okay, so I'm assuming sire means like someone who begotten you, right? Like someone who's like your dad, but like not your dad, maybe like.
So the sire refers to the vampire who embraced you and made you a vampire. That is called your sire, and you are the embraced becomes the child.
Okay. So like, yeah, basically like the person who made you a vampire, right? I think.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Cool. It doesn't matter is a dumb thing to say, especially with, again, someone of authority. A handsome businessman is the correct answer. So I'm going to go with that.
Leila doesn't know exactly what a sire is. She could also be wondering.
Given that you asked,
Yeah.
Out of character.
True. You asked this out of character. This is meta knowledge that you have. But Leila, she doesn't know. She's hearing the term sire for the first time. So it's possible. I could see her saying, it's up to you if you want to pick a handsome businessman. Perhaps Leila... inductive, like, kind of deduces sire means, the person who made you in this, and maybe she put it all together.
I mean,
but
that's what because the word sire to me is like as if like someone sired you, someone made
brought you up.
So the actual word, like I know, like me as like Quasar, for me it's like what, but for like someone like Leila, I think she's smarter than that, to be honest.
So she's
that's
already
what
kind
I'm
of
gonna go with. She already kind of
meant.
knows that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I want to play her more analytical, more just more understanding and like just patient. I know I did make her kind of crazy for the second part where I kind of made the 2 strikes, but the thing is, like, think of it this way: even someone who's super calm, right? They're gonna still want to, if they think their life is at stake, they will break out of character for a little bit, try and save themselves, and then if it fails, they're gonna try and go back to what has been working so far, which is be polite, answer the questions, listen.
Okay.
Right?
We'll go with the third option. So I'm going to go with
yes, the third option. An entrepreneur, the acquaintance of my boss, I think. Good looking, pale blue eyes, and some gray in his hair. Charming, abusive, cold son of a bitch.
You feel tired and angry. This whole situation, spending the day in some underground parking lot, having to bear the looks of a room full of strangers. It's almost too much to take in stride. There's no reason you should take it all in stride, but you do, because if there's one thing your professional career has taught you, it's that. All because of that asshole, whoever he was. He never even gave you a name, or a card. Nothing.
Well, Qadir, does that sound familiar?
No, it does not. We're at least not familiar enough. I will continue the search after we're done here.
Okay. Okay, can I go now? Sounds again disrespectful as hell. What happens now? It's not my place to say. I think the best answer right now is he talked to somebody at the restaurant. And the reason is because, like, I've already made a huge fool of myself times. I
Yeah.
think right now, if I can be as helpful as possible, that'd be probably the best. And this guy did throw me under the bus and, like, kind of leave me here with this creep and then who, like, took me in, whatever. Um, I'm probably gonna go with he talked to somebody. That and he talked to somebody at the restaurant before he left. I can't remember what he said, but he wasn't alone. Maybe that's a lead you can follow.
Did he now? That is interesting. I do hope the proprietor won't stay mad at us for losing one of his staff. It's almost like he knows the waiter's fate is still bothering you and takes pleasure in pointing it out.
What the heck?
I will investigate
like-
it later.
Didn't he say he was gonna save the guy earlier?
No, you asked him, Leila asked him earlier, what's gonna happen to the waiter? Will he be okay? And he said yes,
Yeah.
and literally the game said, you can tell he's lying.
That's not fair. Poor guy, first day on the job. Okay. So sad.
What shall I do with the fledgling, my prince?
What is your recommendation, my sheriff?
The traditions are clear. Thou shalt only sire another with the permission of thine elder. If thou createst another without thine elder's leave, both thou and thy progeny shall be slain. What Qadir is saying here is basically you can a vampire can only create a new vampire with the permission of the elders. If a vampire creates somebody without permission, both of them will be put to death. I am eager to do my duty.
Stay your hand for just a moment longer, Qadir. I wish to consult my counsel on this. Make sure everyone is in agreement.
Of course. He relaxes a bit and closes his eyes. The prince leaves the main showroom, and about 6 people follow her out. You're about to ask this Qadir what all that talk of traditions and councils was, when the red-haired woman approaches the two of you. Sophie? Alright, so Rubric, this character is the elegant, classy, but warm character. Elegant, classy, and warm.
I changed tack so fast last time, now how did I do that? Okay.
You got
I'm
this.
classy, warm, and elegant. Sheriff, I was wondering if I could have a word with the fledgling.
What for? She lowers her voice in response.
Come now, Qadir. There can only be one verdict given the circumstances. Let me speak to them. You might not have to stain your hands tonight after all.
I already have, thanks to this whelp's insolence.
Not use one fledgling's beast speaking up in a moment of terror as a justification for heeding the voice of your own, Sheriff. Hypocrisy suits you ill.
That grabs his attention. His face is hard to read. It's like several emotions are struggling for domination. Anger, sadness, resolve. Damn you, Langely. His eyes flare up with contempt. 5 minutes, and not a moment longer. He stormed out of the room the way you came, and you're left in the showroom with the woman in the red dress. She takes you aside, and the eyes of the remaining guests follow.
Well, fledgling, you managed to get under Qadir's skin. Not an easy feat. You are in a precarious position, and in need of allies. You're lucky that I've decided to attend this meeting tonight.
Okay. So this lady, I have no idea who the hell she is. She's very pretty. And she comes out of nowhere and says, "I'm gonna help you," and doesn't say why. Like, this feels like it's too good to be true. Especially someone who works in fintech, like Leila. She'd probably think there's some kind of, cost to this, right?
Ulterior motive.
Um, yeah, into a complete ulterior motive. But at the same time, like, she's in deep shit, and she's
It's
already
clear
on.
she's about to die.
Yeah, she's on Qadir's bad side. Any alliance right now is good. Uh, okay. I'll do find my own sounds like a terrible idea because of that. Maybe you'll tell me what's going on. Again, she is not in her place. I think the best way is for her to make the alliance. So you're willing to help me? You're willing to help me, or am I getting that wrong?
I am willing to take a risk for you, yes. But before I get to that, I need you to understand one crucial fact that seems to have eluded your grasp. Last night, you became a vampire.
There it is. Now it's official.
Oh shit! At least I'm not a ghoul.
Wait, what?
Oh yes, I am well aware of how ridiculous that sounds. It's why we have these nicer words for it. Kindred, being embraced, having a sire. The fact remains. The beings called vampires, you're looking at them. They're us.
You glance around. Some of the guests are still occasionally looking at you, commenting on you in hushed tones. Many of the patrons are pale. Really pale. Most hold glasses of wine. No, not wine. That's not the right thickness, and not the right color either.
Oh shit, it's blood.
You're trying to come up with something
viscosity.
sensible to say,
Mhm.
but you're drawing a blank. It makes a morbid kind of sense. You drank blood last night, there's no denying it, and your breathing has not returned. Your heart remains still. A vampire. Two voices in your head start battling for supremacy.
It could just be that they're lacking vitamin D and they just need to get out more into the sun.
They just need to get out into the sun more.
Yeah, like these guys are all like, neats. They're just like sitting in their
Qadir is dark skinned
homes,
though. Qadir is dark skinned though.
Oh, that's true, but they're still pale. Like, they just need sunlight, okay? They just to get out into like the beaches or the Maldives or something and just like go for a vacation.
Go for a little tan.
Exactly, just get some tan, without the fear of burning their skin off. But you know what I mean.
One of them slowly begins to put everything that happened since yesterday together, coming to a conclusion that no matter how insane it might seem, nothing but what she's saying makes sense. The other voice just keeps saying, what the fuck, on repeat.
You're surprised. This is often how it plays out by design. Qadir deliberately keeping you in the dark and all. If we do nothing, you will be cut down, as sure as day follows night. But I'm here to offer you a chance. Way out. Under one condition. You are in hot water after Qadir's account of your behavior thus far. This society values docility.
As expected.
I am taking a huge risk if I speak out for you, but I am willing to take you under my wing if you swear fealty to me. I am not making this offer lightly. As your patron, I will take responsibility for you. Your actions will reflect on me. If they reflect negatively, well, I will make sure you face the consequences.
Oh my god. Okay. So oh my god. What happens if I agree? I mean, it's kind of obvious she wants you to be her bitch, like, for lack of better words. What if I refuse?
You kind of have no
I'm
choice.
Gonna die.
You kind of have no choice. And she's at least being nice to you. I will say,
Yeah.
she's at least being nice to you, unlike Qadir, who's like, hey, get in, 3 strikes, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So,
How will you convince the prince? That's not up to me. I'm gonna ask what happens if I agree. At least maybe she'll give me somewhat of an understanding of what I'm meant to be, her, right? Suppose I say yes. What happens then?
You survive, hopefully. Or not, depending on the prince's whim. I'm giving you a chance, not a guarantee. But if you take me as your patron, I will be your guide in this new reality, and you will assist me, like a child would a sire.
Steps and hushed voices can be heard from the side room. It seems the prince and her council are returning to the showroom. Qadir appears from downstairs as well, and starts walking over to you, glowering.
When you hear the verdict, ask to be spared. I will intervene. Remember my condition.
She flashes a sad smile towards Qadir, who does not smile back. The sheriff's immaculate suit is now complemented by a curved, oriental-looking metal scabbard, fastened with a colorful sash around his waist.
Oh, like a scimitar?
Yep. It would look vaguely ridiculous if it wasn't surprisingly intimidating, first and foremost. Qadir takes his place next to you, and observes as the prince takes center stage again.
Loyal kindred of the New York City is it Camarilla? Dang it.
Camarilla.
Camarilla, gathered here tonight. I have made my decision regarding this fledgling. As you are all keenly aware, these nights we need to close our ranks, and trust the wisdom of our elders and their traditions more than ever before. The whelp's behavior since being embraced has been disagreeable, and that does not bode well for them becoming a valuable member of our society. Although I acknowledge some of my council's divergent opinions on them.
She takes a look specifically at one of the people who left the room before, a shy-looking man, whose skin has a somewhat healthier tone. He bows his head in deference.
I hold the final authority over this fledgling's fate, and I declare that while their embrace might be the sire's responsibility, in their absence it is their progeny that shall be punished. The sentence is final death, to be resolved presently. Qadir?
You hear a scraping sound and see that the sheriff has unsheathed his curved sword. It is a beautifully detailed blade, which you expect must be worth a small fortune. Its apparent sharpness makes you freeze up. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. His quiet mumble is audible to nobody but you. As his eyes meet yours, you note just a hint of sadness in his countenance, one that quickly vanishes to give way to grim determination.
Wait, did he just quote
And he's out to bat.
like a baseball thing?
Yeah, he's a baseball fan, so he's mumbling, he's getting into the zone to kill you.
He's gonna knock my head out of the park. Oh no.
Home run, baby! You will not get another chance to speak up.
Yeah, okay. No escape because that's failed me both times, and I'm assuming he's gonna be like, strike 3, you're out, and then knock my head out.
Oh, this isn't even
I'm not
strike
gonna
3. This is straight up you're gonna get executed badly. Yeah.
Yeah. Remain silent sounds like asking for death.
Yeah,
I'm
basically
going
you're
to
okay
ask
with
for
getting
mercy.
killed.
Yeah,
course.
no, I'm gonna ask for mercy and,
If you
hope
chose-
that Sophie steps in.
If you chose either of the options besides ask for mercy, you get an early game over right here.
Oh shit. Okay, I'm so glad I chose ask for mercy.
You make your choice.
Spare me, please. Don't make me beg, goddammit.
Prince, if I may ask you to stay the sheriff's hand for a while longer.
Qadir looks at the prince, awaiting her response. The sword is still hanging above you, threatening to fall at a moment's notice.
Is there something you'd like to say, Ms. Langely? Yes, if I may.
At first, the prince looks somewhat annoyed at the distraction, but she stays quiet for a while, measuring the mood in the room. The bored elites suddenly look at you with aroused interest, some of them dismayed at not seeing the bloodshed, but all intrigued by the unexpected twist. The prince nods.
Well, let's hear it.
Sophie takes a few steps forward. All eyes are on her now, but Qadir's heavy hand on your shoulder makes it clear you won't take advantage of the distraction.
My prince, while the traditions are clear, I believe that the proper context should be observed in addition to the letter of our laws. This fledgling is a burden, but with proper guidance, they could become an asset to our domain. And I understand you are volunteering to take this unruly child under your protection. Yes, I am willing to give them a chance and prove to the entire domain that they can adhere to our expectations. I will take nothing less than their full cooperation, naturally.
Whispers can be heard again. An incredulous voice or two. A hushed,
Just behead the fucker.
some suppressed exclamations of surprise.
Wow, how freaking rude. Did they?
Silence.
Wow. Sorry, Rubric, go ahead.
No. I ask all of you to make a note of this moment. I might be persuaded to bend one tradition in this child's favor, but another will have to be enforced even more firmly in its stead. Until thy progeny shall be released, thou shalt command them in all things. Their sins are thine to endure. Are you certain that's a responsibility you wish to shoulder, Miss Langely? I am willing to guide this fledgling and add a valuable ally to our sect in a time of need, yes. But I would like to receive the right of destruction over them, if it pleases you.
That means she can kill me, right? Like, at any time?
You're basically making a contract with her, and if she feels like you're about to, you heard her. Thine sins, child's sins, thou should be yours to bear. So if you basically cause problems for her, she has the right to kill you at any time. Yep.
Okay. She did mention docility is like what's appreciated.
Yep.
So like, especially now that I'm in such hot water, I don't want to say anything. I think like give me a chance to prove myself is like it's out of place to say right now. I shouldn't be talking, and this wasn't part of the deal.
Yeah,
just
you're
sounds
gonna
like
piss.
I'm asking for death.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna stay silent and just see what happens.
It's clear tensions are high. It feels surreal to listen to strangers discussing your death, or second death, apparently, and keeping silent. You decide it's for the best to let Sophie handle this alone, and not interject. You have no idea how to handle this eyes wide shut crowd. Ah, pop culture movie reference. The prince looks at you as if weighing your worth. She takes another good measure of the room before she speaks again.
I shall grant what you ask. Let it be known, Sophie Langely of the Clan of the Rose will become this fledgling's patron. They shall be considered like sire and child.
Clan of the Rose, that is another name for the Toreador clan, aka the Anguished Artists, the Romantics. So that's what Sophie Langely, if it wasn't already clear, she's of Clan Toreador.
Oh yeah, I kind of figured either she'd be the I think it was Ventru or like the Toreador, because she doesn't seem like someone who's rebellious. She seems more like someone who's very like, kind of just very
elegant, classy.
Yeah. So that fit her. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Ms. Langely will take full responsibility for them, and I grant her the right of destruction if she sees fit to use it. Let my intentions be clear, however. If I am to turn a blind eye to one of our most important traditions on this occasion, I expect it to be beneficial to the Camarilla, substantially so. I hope you find this verdict satisfactory, Langely. Of course, Prince. Thank you. Very well.
She turns to you.
What is your name, child?
The other two options sound like a terrible time to say it right now. No one gives a shit about my nickname, and no one gives a shit to be pessimistic. Yeah, polite and formal. I'm gonna go with the Leila Prince. Yeah, that sounds so much better. Leila Prince.
She nods.
Welcome to the Camarilla, Leila.
All right, we have our first dictionary term. So
interesting.
In VTM, there are three major factions, two major, one less faction. Camarilla is one of the factions. They're basically very bureaucratic, aristocratic, maintain the status quo order. The other
Okay.
factions, you'll meet them in the game later, and I'll explain what they are as we meet them.
So, are these factions like boroughs, like on the boroughs of New York, or are they more like
They're all over the world.
gangs?
They're all over the world. Vampires are basically a secret society. They have their hands in every aspect of human society. They keep themselves hidden. And these factions are based off personal ideologies. Camarilla are very status quo, stick to the rules. The law must be respected. They're traditionalists, orthodox traditionalists. You'll meet the other faction later on.
Yeah, so I don't want to like be very like I want to be outgoing. Like I mean, outgoing isn't like like do good stuff, but also I don't want to catch the attention of like disrespect basically, because that sounds like a death sentence.
Yep,
exactly. Okay. Could you read that line again? Sorry. Could you read that line again, Rubric?
Here. Welcome.
Oh, there we go.
This one right here. I got you.
Welcome to the Camarilla, Leila. Is it the also?
You can read this.
Oh, there we go. There it is. Okay. Now, this evening proved to be even more eventful than I had anticipated. But with the fledgling's fate decided, I believe our meeting here can conclude.
Fledgling just means a young, newly embraced vampire. That's all.
Mm-hmm. A baby.
Yep.
Thank you all for appearing on such short notice. Give my regards to those who couldn't make it. Qadir, a moment of your time before I let you return to your duties.
Of course, Prince. It sounds masculine, but for the Camarilla, it's gender neutral. Each major city has a Camarilla, a branch of the Camarilla, and the Prince is the head of the Camarilla. So in the New York City's Camarilla is Prince Helen Panhard. He shoots you a side glance that doesn't leave much space for interpretation. You will be watched. You will be judged. And, if need be, you will be punished. The two of them leave the gallery.
Well, Leila, I think we've both already managed to significantly improve each other's evenings. But let's keep the ball rolling, shall we? I think we should have a toast to a new fruitful partnership.
She raises her hand at one of the well-dressed concierges who have now reappeared in the showroom to refill the guests' glasses. The conventionally handsome man approaches with the carafe of red liquid. The memory of throwing up in the safe house is still fresh in your mind, and the idea that it could happen again is almost enough to reject the drink altogether. But there's no denying you want it. Need it.
Need the dirt.
I remember what Qadir said about your adventure before getting in the car. Some of us have more delicate palates than others. Try to take a small sip, s'il vous plaît.
He pours it into 2 tall glasses. You can barely wait until he hands you the drink. Your attention is fully on it. The fact that it's blood, you're certain of it. Doesn't faze you this time. It's difficult to take just a sip. Even though the taste is as foul as before, you are tempted to down the whole glass in one go. You wait before taking a second taste. You're glad you did. A feeling like heartburn signals that you can't keep it down. You spit it back inside the glass. Sophie looks on, intrigued.
I'm not surprised. NYC caterers have very bourgeois ideas about what good blood should taste like. Well, you just need to keep trying.
At Sophie's request, the concierge serves you 3 other variants of blood. The first 2 are as horrible and indigestible as before, both ending back in the glass within moments of tasting them. Before the 3rd try, you are almost ready to throw the glass at the wall in frustration. But finally, this one's different. Instead of mud and decay, a surprisingly rich bouquet of tastes. You feel blissfully at ease, and Sophie takes notice.
Ah, there it is. Jacob, would you kindly let us know who the donor was? Leave the bottle, please.
The concierge nods and leaves again. You take another sip, and another. You empty the glass. The dull feeling in your stomach and head starts subsiding, but you still want more. Sophie pours you another glass and refills hers. She takes a sip.
You have a curiously specific taste, Leila. Is it the clover notes, the traces of caffeine, or that bittersweet aftertaste of melancholy?
What the heck? You can get all that from blood?
So each blood, from the blood it comes from human. Depending on the human it's from, you can taste. So for example, if a human is drunk, vampires, they cannot consume any food or drink. If they consume any human food, they will throw it up. They can only consume his blood. But let's say a vampire wants to get the taste of, I don't know, cocaine or something. They'll go to a human who's drugged up on cocaine and drink their blood, and they'll get that taste. They won't get high.
And the high too?
Not the high, but they'll get that pleasure feeling. So without the intoxication, basically. You taste nothing of the kind, but it doesn't matter. It's tasty, but not as delicious as it was last night. Not as intoxicating. It manages to silence the hunger somewhat, though. The hunger refers to the need all vampires, they have to feed. And the hunger is basically that need to feed.
That urgency, that like, you know, that beast sort of type emotion. Yeah.
Drinking blood puts you at ease. It is a strange realization. The man named Jacob comes back with a small card and leaves it with Sophie. She takes a quick look and passes it on to you. It's somebody's medical details.
I'm just, oh my god, wait, so like, you know how you have those like mini cards that tells you like the notes of like the high notes and the low notes of like wine, right?
Yep.
In this case, it's just someone's ID card.
An office worker, male, Caucasian, 32 years old, blood type ABRH+, blue eyes, brown hair, no history of substance abuse, New Jersey native. Might one of these details be what makes the difference?
Yeah, it's just New Jersey people. I need to drink all of Jersey Shore.
Sorry, I was putting that in the chat. Now that we have picked the right bouquet for your palate, these documents should be useful in identifying your exact taste. Should they be ORH positive or Joyzy Boys?
So, this is a meta-knowledge. You picked Clan Ventru. Out of all the vampire clans, Clan Ventru, they are very picky about what blood they can consume. They can only consume very classy blood. It doesn't mean the human has to be high class or classy, but they're very picky eaters. And if they consume other blood, they will either throw up. It'll quench their hunger, but they'll throw up.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're very, very picky eaters because their Ventru are aristocratic, very high class. They're bourgeois clan of vampires, basically.
Yeah, they're so bourgeois. It's just like, I'm high class, so I must drink high class, and everything else is beneath me, peasants.
Yep.
That's great.
But I believe you have more questions, no? Perhaps we should start with those related to sustenance.
Huh. Okay. So, how much do you have to drink? I mean, she already got the bottle, so I kind of know that, right? Where'd you get the blood? I'm actually
How much
kind
do
of
I have to
interested in
drink?
that.
How much do I have to drink is more so referring to anytime it's clear you're a vampire, you have to feed. When you feed, how much do you have to drink?
Yeah, that's actually good to know.
That's what that question means. Not how much right now. It means she's asking it. That question refers to in general. How much do you have to drink each time?
Okay, yeah, because like then I would know like before I kill someone how much I can actually drink from them, and how much I
when
need.
you feed, when a vampire feeds off a human, they don't have to kill them to feed off of them. Most of the time when you feed off the person and they're alive. You can kill them and drain them, which is what you did with that waiter.
Yeah, but I mean, like she's also like a newborn at the time, like a newborn.
Your instincts took over and you had no control.
Yeah, I think it'd be best to ask how much do I have to drink? Like, because it's just for survivability. I'd like to know. Yeah. But wait, question before I start with this. Okay, so like, is there like, do they like just grab people off the street, or like do they go to a blood drive and get the blood? Like, how does this work? How do they even?
In VTM, there's what's called predator types. When you make a character, each character has a predator type, which means what is their style of hunting. Some people prefer going to a blood bank, drinking it out of a bag. Some people are consensualists, which means they will seduce another human, or they'll go to a charity blood drive, convince the human through seduction, mind control, to give them their blood and then drink it. Some
Or
people
just
prefer sneaking into
honesty.
houses. Yeah, some people have ghouls. Some people have what's called blood dolls. A blood doll is a human whose whole purpose is to be like a vessel for a vampire to feed off of, and they know this. And you might think, well, why would a human sign up for this? When a human is being when a vampire drinks blood from a human, the human feels nothing but bliss, like almost like an orgasm, like a high, like the most amazing
yeah, that's
pleasure.
why she said she felt that.
Yeah.
Oh, is that why they don't move? Like they just like let it happen, and that's what the guy like. Okay,
Yes.
At least he had a good death.
Although that is a bit different, to turn a human into a vampire, you have to drain that human of all of their blood. So what that guy did was he drank all of Leila's blood, and then to make, if he had just drunk the blood and left Leila like that, she would be dead. So then to turn her into a vampire, he took his own blood and put it into Leila's body. And that's why, depending on who embraces you, you take on the clan of your sire. Because you took their blood. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why you carry on those like weird genetic, like sort of like
those
clan,
that taste, the powers, etc.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's really interesting actually. Okay, well, okay, if I'm gonna ask this question to all of you, right? Including people in the chat. What would you be? Would you be someone who just like grabs anyone and drinks the blood for survival purposes,
just so you know,
just for fun?
There is a predator type where
Could you list them out?
I'd have to open my guidebook right now. I'm just listing them off the top of my head, but I'm just this is kind of interesting. There's one predator type where you literally the only way you feed is you feed off of like flesh, actual flesh or guts. So
like
I was
ghouls.
telling no, not ghouls. Like we don't have that in ghouls in the VTM universe means something entirely different than what you know.
Yeah, but I mean, like the normal definition for a ghoul is someone who eats like either rotting bodies or there's just like bodies or like brains, like not zombies, but like
So I asked my dungeon master in my VTM games, hey, how would it be if someone is they're a consensualist who has to feed off of guts? And we had a good laugh about that. But yeah, I just thought that'd be an interesting tidbit.
Give me your other kidney, please.
Yeah.
Give me a part of your liver. They can just be a surgeon and like nibble on the person as they're doing surgery.
That's called a cannibal. That's called a cannibal type. There's another predator type where you have like you're a celebrity and influencer, so you have like adoring fans who you can feed off of, or you're a dominatrix. You're a dominatrix or something, and you have a sex like slaves or whatever. There's many different predator types and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was gonna ask the chat, just in like without going into the predator types, just in general, would you be someone who drinks for pleasure, drinks for survival reasons only, drinks from people who give consent to you only, or drinks specifically from bagged blood only?
So drinking from survival, that doesn't quite make sense because you have to drink blood to survive. But I think what you meant is, are you like a reluctant drinker? There is a predator type called a vegan, and a vegan vampire they only feed off of animals. If they feed off of a human, they feel sick. They choose to only feed off of animals.
What would you do, Rubric?
I would be a blood bag person. I would drive around one of those blood donation buses, but it would just be for me.
Wow.
Makes sense.
That's manipulation.
In this, like in the 21st century, a lot of vampires, they tend to be blood baggers and stuff because, you know, they're like, let's be civilized about this. This isn't the 16th century Spanish Inquisition Transylvania anymore.
I would probably be a consensualist, someone who drinks from someone who allows me to, and that's it. Or bagged blood.
So in my current VTM campaign that I'm a part of, my character is a sandman. A sandman is somebody who sneaks into places and feeds on people who are sleeping and then just leaves.
Oh my.
No.
Yeah.
You're like the true Edward Cullen.
Yeah. Sneaky, quiet, no one has to know, just quickly do my thing and get out.
Exactly. Okay. Let's go back to the story.
Yep.
Oh, and chat, feel free at any time to talk about what you think your drinking taste would be like, and we'll check it out after. I feel this hunger constantly. How much do you have to drink to make it go away?
The sad reality is it will never go away. No matter how much you drink, you will always be tempted to have more. Unless you consume someone wholly to the last drop, paying for temporary relief with their life. But that is a one-way road to losing your humanity. Best start by just taking a single sip from a vessel. Be prudent. Hot, fresh blood will be more satisfying than most anything they serve in a fancy glass. But it can make you more voracious.
Vessel just means, where you're drinking from.
Yeah, like the container, like the human body.
Yeah.
As to how much you should have, it depends. If you're frugal, you can survive many nights without a single drink. But it's risky, and will tempt the beast that is part of our curse.
So the beast refers to all vampires have this like lingering beast, this urge, that hunger, and if they let the beast go untamed, they go into a frenzy and they become like very animalistic. Some vampire clans are much like they are more prone to. Every single vampire clan has powers, and they have a flaw called a bane. Some vampire clans are more prone to being taken over by the beast. You'll find this out later.
So like the beast is kind of like your animalistic side, right? It's just an expression.
Your internal nature.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Tomorrow I shall take you hunting, and we will explore this topic further. The blood you're having tonight should be enough to keep you happy for now.
I think I already understand what the beast means, because again, Leila is smart. I think the best thing to know is, again, where do I stand? What will you expect of me? What do you mean by hunting is something that is like kind of obvious. I'm sorry, but like, what do you expect if you're told you're a vampire by going hunting? It probably means you're gonna go seek, how to get more blood properly. So I'm gonna do, what will you expect of me?
Okay.
So now that I'm working for you, what are my responsibilities going to be like?
It's a bit more complicated than working for me. If I wished for a servant, there were easier ways to achieve that than risking the prince's chagrin at Elysium.
Elysium refers to here. So it's where it's basically a safe place. Every major city has different locations called Elysiums. It's where vampire nobility, the members, can gather, and it's forbidden to use any weapons, any powers, no fighting. Like, people of different factions who are enemies, they can meet in Elysium to talk. No violence allowed.
So
if you use violence,
is this like?
Go ahead.
No, finish your thought.
If you use violence, it's basically a huge taboo, and it's punishable by death.
So this is Elysium, right? Where I am.
This is in Elysium, in one of the many Elysiums in New York City. Yes.
Okay, but then, I mean, Qadir has his sword. I'm assuming so it means just those of authority are allowed to carry out justice?
Qadir executing you, that was justice. But let's say two vampires suddenly decided they have a feud between them and they start fighting. It's kind of like the state, murder is illegal, but if the state says this person is guilty and they deserve to be punished by death, the state can murder that person, if that makes sense.
Oh, I see. So this is like a non-competition type zone. It's very like a treaty space, like very like
a truce,
like
safe space,
Geneva
safe zone,
Convention.
No weapons allowed. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
I can see potential in you that would have been wasted if I hadn't spoken up. Not to mention, it would pain me to witness his senseless final death. It always had.
Final death, as we know, it means when a vampire dies for real, actually.
Yeah. So like by fire or by sun, right?
It doesn't have. Those are two things that are fatal weaknesses. But like Qadir was gonna chop your head off. That's a final death.
With that? Oh, okay. So if your head gets removed from your body, that's definitely final death.
Yeah.
Is there
you can't regenerate? You can't reattach your head back to your thing. If your arm gets, depending on the vampire and how strong the vampire is, if your arm gets chopped off, you lose a finger, you can regenerate that back. But something like the head, like you can't reattach your head. Like that's your head, your brain, right?
How about open heart surgery? Like you just remove your heart.
That is an
die?
interesting scenario. That would depend on the vampire and how powerful they are. So,
okay, so like
so because they're not using their heart, right? Her heart's beating.
Yeah, they don't.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
so
what I was
they don't
wondering.
actually. Yeah, they don't actually need their heart. So yeah, technically you could remove the heart, and depending on the vampire, they might be weakened, but like they can still survive.
Okay, so like before we continue, I just wanted to quickly ask something else because this is very interesting to me.
Sure.
You know, like the anime Tokyo Ghoul, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And in Tokyo Ghoul, what happens is this is a spoiler for the first episode. I'm telling you all right now. The main character, Kanaki Ken, he ends up getting into an accident, like into well, it seems like an accident, but you know, whatever, not going to spoil that. And he ends up having to get one of his organs replaced by the other person who was in the accident with him, who was murdered at the scene, right? And that person, like when he gets that organ transfused into, like transferred into him, he ends up showing half ghoul-like capabilities, right? And like tendencies and so on. So what I'm wondering is technically, since all of the torso organs are no longer useful for the vampire, what if you get an organ, like what if you give away all your organs because you can live without them and regenerate them?
That wouldn't work. No, it wouldn't work that way because your body's literally a corpse. Your organs are all decaying. They're literally rotten and decaying. It's why vampires, if they eat or drink human food, they can eat it, enjoy the taste, but then they will eventually throw it up immediately.
Yeah, because it's
on
technically...
their level of humanity, because they're technically dead corpses and stuff. So yeah.
Okay, I see. Like I was just gonna say, like, as someone who's very technically, or not technically, like business savvy, I was wondering if like it was possible to like, you know, take out all my organs, sell them on the black market, regrow more organs, sell them on the black market.
You won't be able to you won't be able to regrow the organs. You won't be able to regrow the organs.
I thought you regenerated. Oh, damn it. Oh.
It depends again. Okay. It depends on, that is very rare. That's like very, very powerful vampires who have like, I don't know, close to 1,000 years old or something.
I'm sorry.
You, Leila, you're like, you've only been a vampire for like a night. Yeah. You got stabbed in the heart with a stake and you're barely like surviving. So
true. Okay. Well, my business idea just flopped. Great. Thank you,
Horrible
Shark.
business idea.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Shark.
Oh. That said, I will require that you defer to me in all things. But me being your mentor and superior also means I shall treat you as my loyal retainer and understudy. With me, you can go far. Without me and proper guidance, you would have become a clear danger to the Masquerade. That is why, with your sire gone, the prince wanted you out of the picture, too.
The Masquerade, as the name, it's in the name of the title of the game, Vampire the Masquerade. Masquerade is literally the rules, the traditions the vampires follow, and the biggest rule is you cannot let humans know of your existence. Vampires must keep their existence hidden. This wasn't always the case. This started during the time of the Spanish Inquisition, and the reason the Masquerade is so important is because humans outnumber vampires. Vampires, they're dead, right? They have rotting bodies, they can't reproduce. Humans outnumber vampires. And since vampires have a weakness to sun, if humans all got their stuff together, they could basically wipe out all vampires. So the purpose of the Masquerade is to protect vampires, keep everything a secret.
I mean, and Sire, like the sunlight.
Yeah.
Sunlight's the ultimate weapon.
Sunlight is the ultimate weapon. And Sire refers to, the person who embraced you.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So yeah, they can easily be wiped out. Like, just, take off a roof.
And
like,
you'll
bombard
see,
them.
As this story further develops, you will see why the Masquerade is so damn important and why they're so secretive. The concierge returns, asks for permission to intrude, which Sophie gives the polite smile, and leans in to whisper in her ear. You note that the gallery is now almost empty.
I'm being told the gallery is just about to close, but we still have quite a lot to discuss. We'll go to one of my apartments. A jalopy is waiting downstairs. Come.
The smile she puts on could tip any negotiation towards her favor. Her words are like honey, and she makes it impossible to take your eyes off of her. You are under her spell, momentarily.
Man, I wonder how old she is, because she just mentioned the jalopy, which is like a very old way of saying car.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Interesting.
Take it away, Quasar.
Sure. I was also going to just ask, let us know when you think it's a good time to stop, since we have done for about 2 hours.
Wow, it has been 2 hours. I didn't even notice.
It has been. Whenever it's a good time to stop, let me know.
I don't mind still going, honestly. I don't feel tired at all, because again, taking like turns in between, it's I think this is good. Rubric, do you want to continue, or do you want to stop? Let us know as well.
Well, so I have ADHD and I'm burning out. So I was trying to make it to like wherever we were gonna stop, but I don't think I could go for very long after this.
Okay.
How about we do one more scene, get to the location we're supposed to get to, and then we can
you're
end
gonna
it there?
fall asleep and wake up? Yeah, we could end it there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
where the
I
rest
think that's a
went.
good idea.
Sounds great.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Take it away.
Sophie leads you to a luxurious silver Rolls Royce and invites you to sit in the back. The chauffeur, a broad-shouldered, clean-shaven, middle-aged guy, starts driving immediately.
Where did we leave off? I believe I started telling you a bit more about our customs. You've heard the prince refer to our traditions. The chief among them is the Masquerade.
Traditions, that's pretty self-explanatory. The rules, the laws.
As you might have gathered from us assembling at a niche gallery after closing time, our comings, goings, and doings tend to be somewhat secretive. We do not advertise our existence. We allow myths and modern fiction to morph and muddle the facts. So, to the vast majority of kind, we remain bedtime stories. Kin, my bad.
No worries.
I was, the old word for cows. we remain bedtime stories and pop culture icons.
So, kin is the vampire term for humans, and it's kind of a derogatory term. Because, like you said, it's the old word for cows. Because they see humans as, food.
Yes.
Pop culture icons, sparkly vampires.
Say, is that one television show about a vampire angel still popular?
Oh my gosh. You shake your head in confusion. She shrugs and continues talking, looking a little bit more dejected than before.
Our clandestine ways help us remain safe, allow us to explain away the occasional trip-up to the rational minds of 21st century humanity, and dictate much of our interactions with mortals.
Okay. I'm gonna say... Okay, it's Trevor Vampire too. I mean, that's kind of obvious. I think. Wait, what about my career then? Okay, I don't think right now she cares too much about the career. She just found out she's freaking dead. Yep. I think what's the risk is the most tactical question, because I'd want to know what if I reveal myself, what's gonna go wrong, and how are you guys gonna react? What's the worst that could happen if you're a vampire? I'm sure you can defeat any threat that comes your way.
It would surely make things easier if we could. Unfortunately for us, there are plenty of things that harm us. Chief among them are sunlight and fire. Both will burn you to ash.
Damn.
That's why we rest during the day. You felt it, I'm sure. That it's more like being dead than being dormant. But we have no choice. We are night dwellers, but day sleepers.
Well, sounds like me. I'm very nocturnal.
You're a vampire.
I'm a vampire. I don't get enough vitamin D.
Folk-related threats are just legends or occasionally a minor nuisance. Garlic, running water, even religious symbols don't repel us unless the wielder is uniquely pure and godly.
So, vampires, if you hold a crucifix, a rosary, a cross in front of them, it's not going to affect them. But if a vampire meets a priest, an imam, or someone who's very godly religious,
someone from the synagogue, someone
not
who's very
not necessarily anyone, but someone who's very religious, pious, they will feel a burn, they can't go near that person.
I see. And it's just anything holy. It doesn't have to be a specific religion.
any one holy. The welder.
Yeah.
Notice she says the welder is uniquely pure and godly.
Exactly. The person, that specific person
Yeah.
that's pious in that religion. Yeah.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Stakes through the heart, though. That's something to avoid. They do not destroy, but they do paralyze, which under the right circumstances can often be the same thing. You're familiar with the sensation, I'm sure.
You see her point to the closed wound in your chest. Though the tattered clothes where the stake entered are more of a reminder of your defiance at this point than any pain or discomfort is. For a second, you expect your heart to beat faster, and you remember it's impossible.
That's a reason to have somebody like my trusted driver, Gregory, making sure you're safe when you drift away. We have many enemies, and they often know their advantage lies with daylight.
So it's good to keep human friends. Do vampires watch each other's backs? How can you trust your driver? I'm going to say... Yeah, how can you trust your driver? Because I would want to know how I can get others to trust me, or how I can trust other people.
Mhm.
I don't think I care, because, like, if once I know how to trust people, I can keep human friends. I can keep, vampires at my back or whatever, and, like, trust them. But I just need to know what exactly allows her to be so trusting. Your driver must know who he works for, right? I mean, he's right there. Surely he can hear everything we're saying. How can you keep him your secrets? How can you trust him to keep your secrets?
His loyalty is assured by partaking of my blood, but his loyalty extends beyond just this dependency, as I'm sure he'll be happy to tell you if you ask. It is a nice change of pace.
Interesting.
Our little sect supplies social interactions aplenty, but it doesn't really encourage counting on it. Support given in exchange for favors, yes, that's more like it.
Sect in this
That
case
makes
refers
sense.
to their faction, Camarilla.
Yeah, the Camarilla. That makes sense. It's very transactional, which, I mean, as someone who's in fintech, she'd be very good at this. Hopefully.
Long-term solidarity does occur in the Camarilla, but we are a very politicized organization by necessity. Loyalty is to your sire, to your prince, and to the sect. When you're in Elysium like we were tonight, the sect can appear to be a monolith. The reality is more complex. Outside of official gatherings, shady deals and a quid pro quo mentality reign supreme.
She seems to be lost in thought and falls silent for a while, leaving you to ponder all the things you've learned tonight. It still feels absolutely unreal, but as piece after piece of knowledge falls into place, the image becomes almost like an entirely logical jigsaw puzzle. Whatever you wouldn't believe on your own, you've witnessed. Many questions swim your thoughts, but the one you keep returning to is what your place in this new reality should be. I'm so glad Leila's like me, because that's what I would be thinking too.
The car stops. You're in the city, in front of an old but well-renovated apartment building.
We're here. Would you like to see your lodgings?
My own apartment, neat. I mean, she already has that, so, like, I don't care. Is this another parking lot room? That sounds stupid. Do I get a loyal servant?
She's asking... The second one is because Qadir kept you in a parking lot room, so it's like a
Yeah,
sarcastic, like, oh, is this another parking lot room or something?
I kind of want to be a bit, like, jokey, because, like, I feel like I've been serious for a really long time.
So
I kind of want to ask another third one.
Do I get a loyal servant? Alright.
Yeah. After all the talks of servants and safety, I'll be disappointed if there's nobody waiting there to make me coffee in the morning.
We can discuss finding you a Jeeves at some point in the future. For now, rest assured that this place is safe and adapted to our needs, as you'll see. Come upstairs.
So I will get a slave, yay. I mean, not a slave, sorry. I meant to say a servant.
Yikes.
I am not. I QuasarNova, solemnly swear that I do not support slavery.
We get it. No one's gonna cancel you. She leads you through a
Okay.
small hall with a night guard who greets Miss Langely with a good evening, and you take the stairs up to the second floor. Sophie opens the door to room 209. Inside are all the amenities you could expect from a modern apartment, and some you wouldn't have deemed necessary just the previous night, including thick blinds on the windows. The back room has a comfortable-looking bed and a thick steel door with several sturdy-looking locks, but no windows.
Well, how do you like it?
Let's see. This is great. Thank you. What can I choose another? Oh my god. Well, enough, I guess. I'm gonna be grateful. Yeah, this is great. This is great. Thank you.
I'm glad. Make yourself at home. Tomorrow I will take you hunting and discuss the blood in more detail. I'll let you get comfortable. The keys are by the television set. I will come pick you up tomorrow night. Use the back room for rest. You can lock the doors just in case.
It stings a bit when she leaves. It's like the room suddenly became a few shades dimmer. You inspect the kitchen, hoping to find something to drink. Nothing. No regular food either. Feels strange that Qadir could be more thoughtful host than your new sire. Even if only in that respect. You briefly wonder if the sheriff might have a hidden side. So sheriff, every Camarilla has a prince. The prince has enforcers. Her right-hand man, the executioner. Qadir is that term, that executioner, the right-hand person, the enforcer, is the sheriff. Qadir happens to be Prince Helen's sheriff.
Yeah, and honestly, not gonna lie, like he was just trying to look out for you, even though he was very rough about it, and like I don't support
he
what
was
he
doing
did,
his job,
but
exactly.
yeah, he was just doing his job. So like I am kind of interested in him. I'm like
if
just
let's
to
put
learn
it
more
this
about
way,
him.
In the beginning, everyone thinks like, wow, Qadir is like an asshole. But now that you find out you're a vampire, he was literally looking out for you. He was trying to basically help you.
He was being really rough about it, and obviously, like, I guess maybe he did try the nice approach one time because he's done it a couple times, right? He probably tried the nice approach.
He's dealt with a lot of people.
Yeah, and it probably didn't work out very well, right? People probably took advantage of him, so he just decided to be more curt. So I get it. I get why he's like that. But I definitely want to know more about him because he did kind of, when he was gonna kill you, he had that like pang of like sadness. I'm very interested in what that means.
You'll see more of him. With nothing left to do, you lie on the couch with the TV playing in the background for company. Columbo reruns, Kojak reruns, President of the United States got himself into serious trouble again. President of the United States got himself out of trouble again. This game was published in 2016 to 2017. So
that makes a lot of sense.
Pundits start yelling over each other about things that seemed a little bit less insignificant just 2 days ago. You start drifting off, reflecting about another night of confusing conversations and worldview-shattering revelations. How many more before you finally understand what happened to you and what you're supposed to do now? You keep coming back to the life you left behind, the people you should contact, the things you want to pick up from your apartment. You wonder when you'll have the chance for either. As you start to feel the same tiredness that made you drift into a cold sleep last night, you settle in the back room. The bed is comforting, the lack of windows less so. You leave the light bulb on. Looking at it, you realize it's the closest you'll ever come to staring at the sun on a breezy summer day again. A wave of melancholy overwhelms you. A few minutes later, your consciousness fades, and you take the plunge into darkness again. Sinking, 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 sinking.
6 feet under.
Okay, and now we're gonna rest. And this is just, we'll end it after this tutorial part. So, hunger is at the heart of a vampire's existence. To ignore it is to tempt the beast to take over its desire to feed. To overindulge in feeding may threaten the masquerade while staining what humanity you have left. So as a vampire, you have a hunger meter and a humanity meter. If your humanity, if you feed in ways that violates the masquerade or harms humans, your humanity goes down. If your humanity gets really low, that's when the beast takes over. It's more like your sanity level. Your sanity level, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
In Coteries of New York, having high hunger is indicated by the progressively thicker, bloody frame around the screen, like the one you see now. So if you look on the right side of the screen, you'll see those blood streaks. That means you're hungry. If there's more blood streaks and they're heavier, that means you're very hungry and you should feed soon.
And you need to feed. Otherwise, you're going to give in to the beast.
Yep.
Which would also decrease your humanity. Okay.
As your hunger grows, so does this indicator. Your hunger may increase when you call upon your vampiric powers or when you need to mend your wounds after a fight. Oh yeah, vampires have special powers and abilities. Every time you use your abilities, you get hungrier because you're using energy, and that makes you hungrier. And you need to feed more, drink more blood and stuff.
Okay.
So there might be situations in this game where you might be tempted to use your powers, but then you might be very hungry, and using your powers could put you at more risk. And maybe there's a way to get out of a situation without using your powers. So look out for that. When your hunger reaches maximum level, you will receive a warning after you complete a piece of the story. Ignore it at your own peril. Some choices might only become visible if your hunger is high enough. Similarly, high hunger can block off some choices, as you'll be able to see after pressing continue. So if you see this symbol, this means this option is blocked off. And you'll see it sometimes.
Okay. And that's a given, right? Like, that's part of the story. Like, there's not ever...
No. It depends on how hungry you are.
Okay, but so like if I maintain my hunger properly, then I can
which is gonna
have
be difficult.
All those options open. Yeah.
It depends.
All right, I'm gonna need your guidance on that one, Revan.
Oh, I'm not gonna give I'm not gonna give you any guidance. You're going into this blind like I did.
Damn it!
And you're going to suffer as I did.
Why?
Where's the fun if I tell you everything? To decrease your hunger.
I know this is the hollow tesseract, but you don't have to be so hollow.
Oh no, we're going full hollow here. You will need to feed. Whenever you see a feeding opportunity, you can take the risk to hunt and slake your hunger. So there might be, if you see these fang symbols, that means as you're going through the dialogue, you can feed off this person. And you got to do this. Every action you make has a risk. You use your powers, you will become hungrier. You decide to feed, you could get caught if you're feeding. Depending on where you are, you could get caught. And if you get caught, you risk a masquerade violation. And that means... And if you get caught, you have to get out of the situation, which means killing somebody, torturing somebody, depending. So
that is very interesting.
The VTM universe is not a pleasant one. It is very cynical. The whole point of the universe.
That's why I'm happy about it. Because it's meant to erode. Dark.
It's meant to erode the player until you give in and if you try to be a moral, upright person, you will die. You won't last very long in this society.
Exactly. I love that like grayness and like the really thin, the really large border between what's black and what's white, because like I've played games like Danganronpa in the past, and like if you know the Zero Escape universe, right? There's a lot of choices there which you would think like, hey, this is technically a bad choice, but I need to do it. And the thing is that grayness about the game is so interesting because it makes that like despair and that hope, like it just makes it even better at the end,
Exactly.
Given what the outcome is. Yeah, I'm very looking forward to this game. Continue.
You will need to keep the hunger at bay if you are to uphold the masquerade and survive the nights that await you. So we rest again. And we can save it here. Save and exit.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So I very much, like I said, I'm very much looking forward to this game. It seems very interesting and very up my alley. Thank you for suggesting it, Revan. And thank you, Rubric, for being here. We really appreciate it, both Revan and I. And what are your thoughts right now on the game, Rubric?
I dig it. I super dig it. I love the art. I love the details. Yeah.
I love the animations. It's like still pictures. Yeah, it's really nice. What do you think so far, Revan? What do you think I'm doing?
I think you're doing fine so far, and we'll see how long your rationality, your logical approach, and because you did kind of break once today where you see. I did not know the reason I was so surprised when Qadir stakes you through the heart. When I played my Bruja, I was afraid. I argued with the guy, but I followed all of his orders because I was like, I don't want to mess with this guy. So when he said get in the car, I got in the car. I did not try to hijack it. So that's why I screamed when you decided, no, let's try to hijack the car. So I'm interested in seeing what wacky decisions you make. And if you try to ask me for guidance, I'm not going to give you any guidance. I'm just going to say, if you ask me what does this question mean, I'll answer that. But other than that, yeah, I'm interested in seeing what wacky choices you make.
Yeah, and I hope our audience... I hope our audience also enjoys my suffering and continues watching with us as we go with our adventure with the VTM universe.
Yep.
Thank you everyone for attending today. We really appreciate it. Again, this is our first official stream. And a quick shout out to the PAX Den, which is the incubator we're working with. We are part of the PAX Den, and what that does is basically it allows up-and-coming streamers like us, very new streamers, to get basically a basis and have a shared audience with what we already have, as well as a shared Discord to be able to get up and started. And once we become successful on our own, we will be detaching from Pakistan. But this is sort of a way to help foster new ideas and help give sort of a backing to very, very talented but new streamers.
We're
so
basically fledglings. We're basically fledglings that have been newly embraced and trying to work our way up.
And instead of killing us right off the bat, our prince, Lone Wolf 7, is allowing us to take part in Elysium and, learn the basics as we go. He's basically our Sophie, not our prince. So I'm putting the Discord link right now in the chat. You can go and visit our Discord, join us through it, and hopefully meet us in person, and perhaps even guest star on one of our streams at some point. But for now, thank you again for watching, and until next time, Holo Tesseract.
See you next time.